Right here.
Are you ready for some football? Yeah!
Your sports leader, WOHS Shelby, WLON Lincoln, and WCSL Cherryville Gastonia.
Hello, this is Milton Baker inviting you to listen to NASCAR Racing right here on WCSL 1590 AM, 92.3 FM, and KTCBroadcasting.com.
I only do things incredible can, cause I am the seed of a chosen breed. You don't see too many like me, cause I am one of the reasons you do what you do when you wanna be me instead of you, cause I am still on beat, showing love to the streets. Come on, you know me, cause that's who I am.
We're going to try this. Good morning. That's probably loud over there on your head. Turn it down. Good afternoon, not good morning. Kevin Hastings, along with Hunter Yancey and Zac Mayhue today. Shock Joxx Sports Podcast is back in action Wednesday, May 20th. Had a fun little day on Monday. Let's see. All the things wrong with me right now. I'm hungry.
Jimmy Johnson.
It's been a short day. I don't want to talk about that shit. It was like, Zach, you've been here 30 minutes and I said a fucking word about Jimmy Johnson. Hunter.
It was horrible. I seen it. I was grilling out. I seen it. And I'm like, oh, he's mad.
Oh, I was mad. I was.
We'll talk about it later. I'll tell you what. I'll tell you my take on it. After I watched it a couple times, I got an idea.
Let's see. I'm hungry because I hadn't ate lunch yet, Hunter. I'm the Snickers lady right now.
Your Snickers.
Or whichever the ones they are that haven't
yourself.
That haven't
out of Snickers.
That haven't ate yet today, and a lot of things to talk about. North Carolina and the National Athletic Association are raising restrictions or lifting certain restrictions, and people are talking about getting sports back in the fall, whether it'll happen or not. We've got that to go over. We've got a little bit of NFL, Major League Baseball, a couple of things to talk about with Zach, see what he thinks. Since he hadn't been on the last two shows, we've talked a lot about that, really. Whatever. We had Monday, Zach. We had, and of course, I took the list down the hall. We'll let you chime in on this as we get warmed up in the show. We did the all-time, we did 3 Mount Rushmores, actually, of TV theme songs. So, now, what we did, I can't find a pen or nothing. Now I can't find a pen. All right, so what we did was, we did instrumental with words and cartoons. And so we had 3 Mount Rushmore is what we did. You want to guess it? Send in your guess for the instrumentals or the words ones first, then we kind of give you some cartoon.
That's tough. That's tough. If I was doing my own, I don't know what you
Let me
guys
grab a
would pick.
pen real quick while you talk.
If I were to give you my own for my favorite intros, I'll wait till he gets back. We will. I said I'll wait till you get back. My personal favorites would be the first one would be
This was sitting right in front of me. How did I not see this?
I don't know.
I'm struggling here, boys. Struggling.
for
Good
the,
Wednesday, Hunter. How are you?
It's
You hadn't said that, like,
it's
3
a
words.
shit day outside.
You having a good day as well as I am too?
It
I
is.
guess?
It's just a shit day outside.
I brought a bucket of pens. All right, Zach.
We'll just sit it in the center. We'll never run out of pens now.
It's from that room.
Yeah, they don't.
I liked Dukes of Hazzard.
That made our words.
Yeah, that would be one of my words. The Jeffersons. I love the Jeffersons.
That
Moving
made
on up.
that made the words.
Instrumental for me. That's two of my. I have to keep thinking. The instrumental would be Sanford and Son.
That made one.
I hated Cheers, but it had to be on there.
It
Probably.
didn't make our top 4.
Maybe
It
Mash.
barely even got Mash and Cheers. Barely even got
I hate
mentioned.
both. I hate both.
Yeah.
I hate both of them. I love the Jeffersons. I can still watch Jeffersons. Did I? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sanford and Son. I still like to watch Sanford and Son.
Mm-hmm.
Knight Rider.
Ha! Believe it or not, that made it. And I did not think on all of our lists. You can usually name 2 or 3 that you think. Knight Rider was a nomination, and I didn't think it was going to make it through. It's Andre's favorite show. So
Really?
That's his.
That's surprising.
So when we said that, I was like, I'm gonna tell Andre, and he's gonna be excited about
Yeah,
that. But yeah,
those Knight Rider and Dukes of Hazzard were my 2 favorite shows
So
growing up.
so far you've guessed. What all have you guessed so far that we've said?
Knight Rider,
Dukes.
Dukes of Hazzard, Jeffersons, Sanford and Son.
Okay, so you've got 4 of the 8. Now, let's break down a little bit. Let's go into instrumentals. So you got Knight Rider and Sanford and Son. Got to think 2 other instrumentals, and they are
18.
that was nominated, and these guys are I mean they're
Dallas.
They're big time. Yep, that's one. I mean they're big time names.
Yeah.
The last one is it's famous. Like you hear it, you know the show. Now when I say instrumental, I'm gonna take this out. There are no instruments in this one.
Full House.
No, that was nominated by Hunter. He fought hard for the final 4 on the songs, but that one has words as well. But come on, it's in this show. We play it on this radio station every day. Milton plays it every morning. Start a show.
It's Andy Griffith.
There you go. Andy Griffith.
I should have been my first choice.
Yeah. In fact, 3 of the 4 on that list, Milton plays on his show. He plays Dallas, he plays Andy Griffith, and he plays Sanford and Son to end the show. Now with words, Zach, you got 2 more.
We got Jefferson. Good Times.
It didn't make the final 4. Jefferson's Dukes of Hazzard.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'll give you hints on the last 2. One of them is Mom and Daddy's generation. The other one is our generation.
Leave It to Beaver.
No. Think about the days of the week. Sunday, Monday, happy days.
Oh, Happy Days. Yeah, that's a very good one.
That made the top.
Love that.
That made our final 4 Mount Rushmore's one of the most
Then
popular
one
shows.
of our day. Are you talking about
And then
like 80s, 90s day?
90s with words. The most popular. What's the most popular 90s TV show with words?
Seinfeld.
No. With words. Hunter, have you got the
90210?
NBA list over there ready?
Have I got the what?
Those NBA starting lineups. We'll talk about those. in a minute.
They only did these.
90210 was nominated. It was nominated for the instrumentals, but this is not an instrumental. This is the words. Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Yep, that's a good
So
one too.
let's see if you'd kick any of them off. We got Jefferson's Dukes of Hazzard, Happy Days, and Fresh Prince as our top 4 with words.
Yeah, I'm good with all those. I don't have a
Sanford
problem
and
with
Son, Knight Rider, Andy Griffith, and Dallas was our top 4
As much as I
instrumentals.
hate Dallas.
Well,
the
right.
show,
I
but-
didn't like to watch the
But
show.
epic opening.
If you ask anybody born that are older than me and you, they know that you
Yeah.
play that song. That's going to. Well, we had a ton more that were nominated, of course, Green Acres and all kinds of fun stuff. Cartoons are final 4.
Yeah, I don't even get cartoon.
Looney Tunes was 1.
Thundercats was awesome.
That was not.
Transformers was great.
That didn't make it either.
What? G.I. Joe.
You ready?
Real American Hero.
Scooby Doo.
Who picked these?
He picked Scooby Doo.
My son's favorite cartoon. We watch it every day.
Is what?
Scooby Doo.
Oh, Tom picked Looney Tunes. I'm not going to tell you mine yet. The fourth one that we all voted for and put in together, which I did not see. I think it's the upset of the day. I didn't think it's coming, but I have no problems with it. I don't know if you will or not. Andre liked it. Animaniacs. Did you watch that, or was you too old for that? I can't remember.
I remember.
Because
I remember.
I feel like I was a teenager.
It was like a Tiny Toons kind of deal, I believe.
Yeah, so you don't even remember that one. Okay, that's for.
That was Warner Brothers.
Tom
baby.
loved it. At that one, and in Hunter
Warner
did too.
Brothers sucked as much as they could out of Animaniacs.
And then my final fourth one, the one I nominated for mine was South Park, only because of the words that Kenny says under his mouth, which I will not repeat today.
We're not repeating today. I was gonna say you have.
I've got
just
it down
look
the
up.
hall. I'm
Just
gonna
look
hand
it
it
up.
to Zach, and I'm gonna get it in a minute when
Just
Andre
look it
comes
up.
in. But I don't know if you ever watched South Park at all. So let me give you the basis of the show.
I know what the show's about. I just never watched it.
It's 8, 10-year, 12-year-old boys, and all three of us have obviously been that age. And to me, it's hilarious because that's the way they act and take things out of proportion is exactly how 10 and 12-year-old boys act and take things out of proportion. So that aspect of it is just damn hilarious to me. It's also like I love how they take on the non-PC things of the day as well. They'll take on any subject anywhere. They took on China, weren't afraid of that. So they had no the things that they do. The show in itself
stuff
is
you
classic.
can get away with as a cartoon.
Right. So, but the opening scene, you know Kenny, right? He wears his.
He's the orange one.
He's the he's in the orange suit, and when he talks, he's like, ooh. So in the opening, he has a line in it, and it's muffled, but it's pretty graphic, and it changes It's changed every couple of years, and so I know that may not be like when people think love tunes and everything, but that show and that song is so groundbreaking that to me it had to be on there. All right, Hunter's pulling up the
Yeah, I got
starting
the,
lineups for the teams.
What they did
Let's see
is
if me and Zach can get, let's try to guess some of them, or maybe
The bad thing that I thought that
I
they
got
did, like Alonzo was on the Heat and on the Hornets.
Oh,
Right.
I thought you meant crossovers between
That-
eras. I was like, I
No.
think that's fine, but
No.
I didn't know. I didn't scroll far enough because all that they did were all-time starting five for every NBA Eastern
But
Conference team.
I understand, why they would do that. But
Well, yeah, I mean, if it was the only noticeable player that they had.
there was some teams that didn't have a great starting five. They wouldn't even win in today's NBA
Yeah,
with their best players.
I'll tell you one that does have an awesome starting five, and that's Chicago.
Chicago had
Regardless.
a
What?
good starting five. You know
Regardless, I mean, Chicago might have the best starting five on here,
they had a good starting
and it's
five.
not just because they have Michael.
They had a I thought-
easy. It's always just because they have Michael.
Yeah.
Nah,
I thought the best one that I saw, or that I thought the Heat had a solid starting.
Well, let's
lineup.
start it up then. So we'll start. You two guess. We're gonna start. This is just gonna be in alphabetical order. We'll go with the Atlanta Hawks. So you're 5. So this, of course,
got it
is,
up on the
this
screen,
is
by
by
the way.
ESPN.
Where did y'all find it?
This is
He's
it's
on
on
ESPN.
ESPN.
Is it on
Yeah.
Facebook, ESPN? Is that what it is?
No, it's just ESPN.com. ESPN, and trust me, it's one of like their top stories because
Not
they're
on mine.
scratching for content. So all-time
Sorry.
starting five for every Eastern Conference team. We'll start with Atlanta. So go ahead, you two, guess it out.
Oh, there it is.
Now they had it set up where there's
I can't
no 3 or 4 forwards, no
Okay.
4 guards, it's 2 guards. It's traditional basketball: 2 guards, 2 forwards, and a center. So
Well, I'm cheating and I'm looking at the screen first. I did, and that
how
is-
dare you
that
cheat?
that-
That was bizarre. That's
I know,
not
I
the
wasn't supposed
point.
to look. That thing is an abomination. I'll go ahead and say for the
You-
Atlanta Hawks.
All I saw was Dominique that I could recognize.
All you need to know is Pete Maravich is not on the list, and I don't see how.
I'm okay with the Al Horford being on there. I'm okay
He
with Al
might,
Horford.
Doc
be.
Rivers would have to be on it, and I don't think he is. From what I seen earlier, I did see
I
a
mean, he's
glimpse
got
of it.
Yeah.
I didn't see it up here. I saw it on
Maybe
my
Pete
tab.
But he's
didn't
only
play
got it in. He's got it to where
I had pictures.
only.
I had pictures, so
Well, anyways.
and I
So-
didn't recognize any of them. I would have Doc Rivers as a point, small forward Dominique,
Pete played in Atlanta for his first 4 years of his career, and his last year before they moved, he went to New Orleans Jazz. He averaged 27, 5, and 5.
I mean, he gets
Pete
this person gives like small breakdowns too, and I was like, well, okay.
Just give the Hawks. That's
All right.
not that big of an
All right.
important one.
It's not that big.
They've already
The
already
two guards.
fucked up by not having
the
Pete
two
Maravich,
guards. Lou Hudson,
which was good.
Cliff Hagan,
Never heard of him.
Yeah, I told you lies. I didn't hear it.
the forward, Dominique,
Yeah.
So
Bob Pettit, center's Al Horford.
Hagan was from 57 to 70.
Now they do have a couple ABA references in this because I was reading one of them and I was like,
If Al Horford is your best starting option, you might have a sucky starting lineup for all time.
well, nobody's
Well,
ever
they do.
said that. Nobody's
This is
ever
the
said
Atlanta
Atlanta
Hawks.
was a
No,
power.
no, I agree with
I would
you.
say
I
no one
agree
ever
with you.
said the Hawks have ever really been a powerhouse.
When I saw that
Dwight
list,
Howard
it made
played
me.
for him.
For a second,
So
Hey, Carmelo did.
who did Rashid get played?
Carmelo,
To?
he never set foot on the floor for the Hawks.
Was it Rashid that did that too for some? Who did Rashid get traded to and only played like one game for, and didn't?
It was somebody. I remember that.
Gosh, why
Well,
can't I
that
remember that?
Is Atlanta?
I was thinking it was the Hawks too.
That is Atlanta, and only one of those, well, maybe two.
Was
of
it
them
Boston or
are
something?
Hall of Famers.
How do you not?
It was Atlanta.
Why can't you put Vince Carter on? the team?
Rashid Wallace.
Yeah, Vince Carter's about to finish his career there.
The Hawks, but yeah, Rashid Wallace played one game for the Hawks.
Vince Carter's already on here for another
Yeah,
team.
he's
so.
on it for 2.
They got him on there for 2.
Yeah, they
Imagine. I could.
I think it's the Nets.
Probably
It is. It is. Because that's the next
The Nets
one
and the
after.
Raptors.
Yeah, well, I figured the next one that pops up after the Atlanta Hawks top 5. Again, this is not our top 5
No.
people. This is what ESPN has put out, and it's just it's all opinionated, and we're gonna agree whether we
Because
agree
they're
with
owned
it
by
or
Disney,
not.
it's probably Mickey Mouse. No.
Okay, the Boston Celtics, their 2 guards, Bob Cousy.
All right, center. I do want to back up on the Hawks. Dikembe Mutombo probably should have be the center on that one. Didn't they win a playoff series or something? Didn't they? I don't know.
Right.
I mean,
But-
Horford's been Horford was a multiple-time
You
All-Star
can
down
put him
there.
at power
but-
forward though.
So was Dikembe Mutombo.
I know. I have no problem with Mutombo either.
It's like,
Mutombo
it's
is
like whoever did that just skipped over like a lot of Hawks. Like if you're going to the 57 Hawks, like what do you-
Mutombo was
what do you-
good too.
And Mover Maravich.
Jeff Teague was good when he was there.
Yeah.
He was
Bud-
damn
Bud
good
Webb
when he was
good
there.
When he was there.
I don't know, but I really didn't have a problem with Horford because I thought he was one of the better big men that they've had.
He was better with them than he has been with anybody else.
Horford,
He was decent with the
I
Celtics.
like. All right, Celtics. That's pretty, for the most part, pretty easy.
so they got guard Bob Cousy, guard John Havlicek, forward Paul Pierce, forward Larry Bird, center Bill Russell. Do you have any problems with any of them? I really don't have a problem with it. I'm glad that
There
they.
was a
I'm
lot of
actually
people
glad
that was
that.
upset that McHale didn't get on there, but I think I'd take Paul Pierce over McHale.
I was about to say I'm
forgot-
I'm happy they gave Paul Pierce his credit.
They forgot Moses Malone too.
He
The
was a Hawk, wasn't he?
That's what I was just saying. Yeah, like
Oh, you're
I
just
know
talking about
I'm
the
still in the
Hawks.
Hawks. rank over
He's
here.
still stuck on the
He's
Hawks.
on the Hawks train.
Like
train
they
Yeah,
list.
he
just
is.
started talking about people who.
But
didn't.
I'll say this: the Boston Celtics one is probably the hardest
Yeah.
because they've had so many championships, and you literally would just have to pick and choose who you can't put on there.
They
It
could
would
have
just
a-
be so tough. You could have 3
They could have
top 5 potential teams.
They could have Mount Pass last pretty easy.
Oh yeah, they could have 3 starting 5s,
I mean,
and
think about
they'd
this.
they'd be able to
Think about
compete.
this. Well, they've got all these old time greats. You got Ray Allen. You got Kevin Garnett.
Oh, I know. Kevin Garnett, to me, because that's when I saw him the most, is a Celtic. But I
Oh,
know
absolutely.
to a lot of people, that's because that's where he won his title. But to a lot of people, will always be a Timberwolf. When Hall of Famer, he'll be a Timberwolf.
he
But to me,
absolutely-
he was a Celtic.
He absolutely hates the Timberwolves.
Well, the problem with that list is if you're doing power forward, that Bird's not a power forward.
no,
Oh, yeah, I know. Yeah, I would
So
put Paul
you c-
Pierce at the
I would-
PF before I put Bird.
I would have slid. Shut up, Hunter. You so silly. I would have moved Paul Pierce down to shooting guard, take out Havlicek. Sorry, buddy.
Yeah.
Garnett at the 4 and Bird at the
yeah, I was just telling about Garnett, and then you
and
got
even if
Ray
you're
Allen.
well, yeah, and if you're taking out Garnett,
See, that's another one of those things for a lot of people. For my kids my age, Ray Allen is the Celtic/Heat. But for a lot of people, Ray Allen was a Buck.
Yeah.
Bef-
He's-
well, how about he?
That
played
was Big
He
Nasty.
played 7 years in Seattle.
True.
Yeah, that's what I recognize him as, just because that's where he came out.
That was when he was
really good.
That's
for
when
them.
he was the most complete Ray Allen. Was when he was younger. But of course, he turned into the sharpshooter later.
Oh, he's
The
a
Brooklyn
great
Nets.
shooter.
Y'all do know who you forgot on the Celtics talk at all, don't you? Kevin McHale.
I bet you that.
Well, he mentioned.
Okay,
I bet you that.
He
where
mentioned
they-
it.
you know,
Before Barkley and before basically Karl Malone and Barkley came along, McHale was thought of maybe the best power forward. He had footwork like Olajuwon, but he just wasn't Olajuwon.
he was so. He looked like he was real clanky,
His
but
dunk-
he's slow and smooth, but they couldn't stop him.
He's like
Yeah.
he's like a white Duncan.
Yeah,
We didn't put,
he was.
We didn't put Glenn, Big Baby
He's a
Davis
big-
on
he's-
this.
No.
We didn't put Big Baby on this.
The Bucks.
Shaq at one point was the Celtic. If you want to play that stupid stuff,
Did you say
Every
the Nets
place-
or the Bucks next?
it's the Nets. Should be
played-
New Jersey, but they're just gonna go
Allen
by
had,
Brooklyn.
Ray Allen had 5. Think about this. Before Ray Allen even got to Boston, he had 6 years in Milwaukee. No, 7 years in Milwaukee and 5 in Seattle.
Wow. And he had a good run in the Celtics.
5 in Boston, and then he won a championship in
Championships.
Miami.
Yeah, he got 2 championships. But see, that's what a lot of people don't like Ray Allen in Boston because of that. Because Miami and Boston were clashing,
Oh yeah, and he left.
and he left, and he went
he
and
won
joined.
LeBron a
and he-
championship.
Yep, he did win LeBron a championship. He won it. The Brooklyn Nets. This is a mixture we obviously
Jason
know
Kidd,
between.
probably a star.
Yes, this is a mixture
guard.
between New Jersey and Brooklyn. So they got Kidd and Vince Carter,
Dr. J.
Julius Irving. The center is dumb as shit. I'm not gonna lie. The other forward is Buck Williams. The center is.
Surely it's not Brooke Lopez. No.
I promise to God it is Brook Lopez. Dude, I told you that's why it's dumb as shit. They got the center as Brook Lopez for the Brooklyn Nets.
Please tell me somebody was better than him. Didn't Derek Coleman play for them?
Yes, he did.
Before he came to Charlotte?
he was drafted by them. Yes. Who did we just say? Who are we talking about?
Brook
The Nets.
Lopez.
They put Brook Lopez as the best center for the New Jersey
I'm dead.
Nets.
I mean, I don't.
I
know.
mean, I'm about to do a deep dive.
I'm,
Deep
that's
dive.
what I'm like.
Brook Lopez is the 4th person pictured when you type in the Nets. He
That's
is.
horrible.
He is.
I'm just trying to think centers though. Like centers a hit and miss position
So,
to,
well,
to where
oh my God, we're not even talking about
Didn't they
the,
have
the
that guy?
great,
Didn't they have that guy who was
Chris-
like 7'6"?
the great Chris Humphries
Yeah.
played there.
What was his name?
Sean Bradley.
No, Dallas had him. There was another one. Big
Sean
brown
Bradley
guy.
was in a
The
bunch
great
of them.
Chris Humphries played there. He's more known for his short-lasting marriage with Kim Kardashian than for playing basketball. He was married to her for like a week, and then they divorced. How crazy is that? Kevin Garnett was there for a season. Paul Pierce was there for a season, but that was just because they got traded there to dump cap space for the Boston Celtics.
They got
Um,
messed up in that trade big time.
All right, so here,
oh my God! You know who I totally forgot wasn't even mentioned for Atlanta?
Who?
I just because I saw him here underneath the Brooklyn Nets. Joe Johnson.
Rodney Rogers.
Dude, Joe
Yeah.
Johnson
He's a
was
good ball player.
disgusting.
He's a good ball
He
player.
was so good. I'm just looking here underneath who all has been New Jersey Nets, and you know, as crazy as this sounds, I might have to give it to Dan Brook Lopez as their center because Dan, they don't got shit.
Is that, are you
Well,
looking at?
I'm
three?
looking at like,
Yeah. Well, here's some nominations. Drazen Petrovic obviously wasn't a center. Richard Jefferson, Rick Barry played for him. Kerry Kittles,
I thought Kerry Kittles.
Kenyon Martin, Van Horn, Derek Coleman. I'd probably put
Kenyon.
Coleman at center and not worry about Brook Lopez.
Who would you
Kenyon
put-
Martin was a center. At
Who
some
would you
places.
put
I could
as
put
the-
him there?
He could definitely play small
who would you
ball.
put as the best net? Irving?
Dr. J?
Would it could be a toss up between Irving and Kidd?
No,
You want to put Jason Kidd on that conversation?
he's not in the conversation with Dr. J.
Okay.
It's the doctor.
Okay.
It's the doctor, man.
All
I'll-
right,
I'll
here's
s-
your favorite one. The Charlotte Hornets. We talked about it
Yeah, it's horrible.
off air.
Yeah.
The guards, Kemba Walker and Dale Curry. Don't fall
Horrible.
out your seat.
That's horrible.
The 2 forwards, Glenn Rice and Larry Johnson, and the centers
I
Alonzo Mourning.
absolutely love the.
Kevin might sit here and scream the center should be Dwight Howard.
Yep.
Alonzo's my favorite all-time player. So
Well,
I can't complain about that.
Yeah, I mean,
And then I love Glenn.
but
Rice,
you
too.
guys will claw and cat scratch everybody that said
I like
agrees
Dwight
with the
Howard, too.
guards.
I have no-
I'm talking about that agrees with the guards.
Yeah.
Kemba Walker and Dale
I'm
Curry.
horrible on the guards.
Now,
I know
I tell you what,
everybody likes Kemba.
You bring
but-
Kimba and Dale to the park. I'll bring Kendall Gill and Baron Davis, and we'll see how quick that opinion ends. Is the easiest way I can say that to the folks that have that on there. Listen, there are things in this world that are true and not true, and opinions. And I just know these New York basketball folks that write these articles have no idea anything about Charlotte Hornets or tradition. Zach, you were mentioning that Dale Curry really wasn't a starter. He's the all-time leading scorer for the Hornets, and he really wasn't a starter.
I thought he was passed up by Kemba Walker on all-time scoring.
He probably
He
be
was.
now.
He was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
He was the backup to Rex Chapman and Kendall Gill.
But see, that's probably what they took into consideration
He's the
for
sixth
this.
man the whole time.
I want
I
you
would
to
put
think,
Rick
I want you
over
to think
Dale.
about though. For ESPN writers, that's probably what they took into this. Dale Curry at one point was the all-time leading scorer, and
That's
Kimba
exactly
passed
what
him.
they did.
That's what they did.
That
They
is
just looked up.
exactly
That's
what
all
they
they
did.
did.
And, you know,
I look at people who won playoff games and playoff series and did.
Well, Kimba won playoff games when Big Al was
Muggsy-
there.
Muggsy had
He got-
the most
he got,
assists
what,
and the
one?
most steals.
He only won
Did
one
they win
playoff
one
series.
or two?
I didn't think he won any.
Who? Kimba?
I'm not
just
sure they
talking
won
about. I'm
any.
just talking about games.
No,
you said
no,
you said
I'm
Blood
saying
win playoff
series.
games
no,
in
no,
series.
No, series. I don't think Kimba ever won a
No.
series.
No, I don't. No, because I think Big Al was there. Did he make it to when they renamed themselves the Charlotte Hornets, or was he only there as a Bobcat?
he was
He had a
Hornet.
Hornet. He was
Okay,
the first
okay.
year. I remember the
Uh,
jerseys for Jefferson.
You know, Muggsy was all-time steals and assist leader and points. Minutes played.
Nobody can be more highly underrated, and because he's 5'3", is Muggsy. Like it is. And Rex Chapman said the only person Muggsy couldn't guard was Magic. and he
Muggsy
had to
Bogues
guard.
had like 39 blocks in his career. His height. He blocked Patrick Ewing. That's one of the things I saw that they were
He
talking
had a
about him the
shot
other day.
over Shaq.
Well, it's not that, it's not like when you say somebody was good and
Mm-hmm.
could play. What you mean is, I think some people who've never seen Muggsy play would say he couldn't touch the court today. Which, if you're playing smaller ball today, which would
You'd
make more
love him.
sense that he would be.
You'd love him. If
out
you're
there,
talking about
but-
the Hornet or the Rockets, they'd love him.
And the second thing
They play
is
small ball.
he wasn't a scorer. He was a distributor.
Right.
And who wouldn't want somebody to be able to get the ball to him? And so he could play in this era.
Let me tell you something. This might be the best lineup, and it's not just
Muggsy's
because they
23rd all time in assists.
What is it, about 6,000?
He's got 6,700. He's right behind Darren Williams, Bob Cousy, and
Darren Williams.
Tony Parker.
I never liked Darren Williams.
I
got.
did,
Yeah, but he'll be considered a Jazz. 'Cause I was gonna say he had a stint.
I did not
with
like
the
Darren
Nets.
Williams at all
Either.
either.
It started with Illinois.
That's where it did start. You know why I didn't like him more? He never got in shape.
Yeah,
He
he's
never
lazy.
once got.
Well,
in
that's
shape.
like
You can look at his
Carmelo.
arms. Basketball players, their arms are ripped.
That's like
if they're in
Carmelo.
shape. He
Melo
was
ain't
never
never
in
been in
shape.
shape unless he was young.
Uh-uh.
Since then, he's always been a hot dog. I liked Darren Williams a lot. I thought he was really good with Utah.
So the Hornets, Glenn Rice is right. Larry Johnson is right. My argument on the Alonzo Mourning Dwight Howard thing is that Alonzo was only there 3 years. Dwight was there 1, yes, but Dwight also set the franchise record in field goal percentage, almost the same stats as Alonzo in his later years, and he was just he's 5 points less than Alonzo, but he wasn't asked to do like that. And Alonzo voluntarily left Charlotte and didn't want anything to do with Charlotte.
Yeah.
So that one kind of stings for me a little bit on that. And then, but I'm not saying he's not good. Alonzo's a good basketball player, so I can't argue with that one. But the point guard and the shooting guard, I'd say no Kimba and no Dale
The
Curry.
Chicago Bulls. Now you two
Curry
can
might
guess
not even
3
make
of them.
top 5 shooting guards in the Hornets.
Maybe not.
I agree.
You gonna put Gerald Henderson in front of him?
I don't know. He might be 3rd or 4th. But I mean, you got Kendall Gill, Rex
Did
Chapman,
I tell you about what the funny thing
David
was?
Wesley.
Bobby
Did I tell you
Fields.
about what the funny thing was that was trending the other day on Twitter?
Which one?
It was remembering the Charlotte Bobcats, and I was like, "Who
I
the
did
hell
see
wants
one
to
of those
remember
things,
that?"
yeah.
And it was because some guy had put out an article on ESPN. It was like it was basically remembering the Charlotte Bobcats' only All-Star, Gerald Wallace. And I was like, "Damn, Gerald Wallace was just a little bit better of a MKG. Couldn't shoot anything,
horrible.
but played defense and could get to the rack with ease."
I couldn't stand watching Gerald Wallace.
No.
Now he Gerald Wallace he would be that Rodman / Pippen defender, If
He
he's
played good
if he's your
defense.
top 3 player, you're in trouble.
He's
That's why
he's that C player.
Let me tell
for
you
me.
He's
something.
that Andre Iguodala for the
Let me
Warriors.
tell you something. You knew.
I
I
agree.
told my buddy this. So that
But
you
can't
knew.
shoot
You
threes.
knew the Bobcats were in trouble when they drafted Anna Morrison. That's all I gotta say. That's all I gotta say. The Chicago Bulls. You can name 3 out of the 5. I promise you can. So you can go ahead and name Michael, and name Scotty. But who's the third?
Derrick Rose.
Yes.
Derrick Rose is the point guard.
He's the point guard. Who's the other forward with Scotty?
Might be Orlando Woolridge.
It's not.
They probably said Rodman in the
That's exactly
Dodos.
who it
I don't
is.
know who the center
They
is.
said Dennis
I would
Rodman.
put Rodman, but I don't know who the center
I don't
would
know.
be.
They put the center as Gilmore.
Artis
Artis Gilmore.
Can't argue with that one. They didn't have anybody else. I mean, center-wise, they never really did.
I mean, they did in the
Orlando
Derrick Rose
Woolridge,
years.
I think he was a power forward.
They had
Woolridge power forward.
Joakim
Oakley.
Noah. They had
Oakley was power
Joakim Noah
forward.
with Derrick Rose, and he was Defensive Player of the Year in 2013-14.
Now that might be the one.
That's the one that I was going to argue about. I think
What now?
Joakim Noah could.
Yeah. For
could have
them, he
played.
was really good. That was his
He-
good year.
He was
After
your
that,
defensive player. He was your defensive player. Like
They missed
kind
out.
of like what Rodman was.
They missed
That
out.
was what Noah was.
Never mind.
They missed out.
Artis Gilmore.
They missed out on winning the championship that year with those guys.
Gilmore career average, he was 7'2", averaged 19.
I didn't think he was that
and,
tall.
and
That's
12.
big.
I didn't either. I thought it was like
Gee,
6'10".
I did too.
Yeah, Gilmore to the
That's
center.
huge.
The Cleveland Cavaliers.
But I think Gilmore was on that Cocaine Express team.
Mark Price,
Mm-hmm.
Craig Ela,
No.
starting shooting
No.
guard.
No
shooting
way.
guard.
LeBron.
Yeah.
At shooting guard.
Mark
But I
Price,
know LeBron.
LeBron James, and Larry Nance. Those are the 3 that are probably giving.
Yeah, who's a shooting guard?
They got Kyrie Irving at shooting guard.
He's not a shooting guard though.
But I know he's not. But this is nobody
I
said
know.
it. He's still a guard. They're kind of interchangeable. And then the center they got Brad Daugherty.
Yeah, he's. I don't have.
I
problems.
think I'm okay with that Cleveland Cavaliers.
I'm good with
lineup.
that.
I think Kyrie
I-
was a staple for Cleveland when he was
If
there.
you had Mark Price at point guard, then Kyrie could definitely be shooting guard because he's really not.
Well, Kyrie's always should have been a shooting guard. He's never really been pass first.
Right.
So, I mean, yeah, they can fit. The Detroit Pistons.
So, real
Isaiah.
Quick, real quick.
Mhm.
Talking about that point guard. Kyrie, Kimba.
Kyrie and Kimba. That's
Russ-
what Chris Broussard said. He said Kyrie and Kimba are the same player, just
They are.
Kyrie's got rings because he
Russell
played with LeBron.
Russell Westbrook. All those guys, Zach, need a guy who facilitates at the 2 guard.
Yeah.
Hornets did a good job going after Batum. It just didn't work out because they didn't have anybody else, and Batum was not as good as what they thought. That type of player is
I think
smart.
Batum was on his I was on it past his prime at the time
And the
for
reason-
his contract.
And the reason I say this, Zach, is anytime you've had a small guy be successful, he's had to have a big guard with him. Iverson had to have those big guards with him.
Yeah.
Eric Snow in the game, just because somebody, if the other team's got 2 6'5", 6'6" guys, you kind of need somebody that can play some defense and dribble the ball. You don't like Iverson, Curry, Westbrook to dribble the ball up and then take their own shots. That's just hard on a basketball team or whoever dribbles it up to take the jumper when everyone else hustles down there. If he can get rid of the ball and then move around, Iverson coming off screens and stuff, I thought was just, what are you going to do? You can't stop that. You can't guard him doing that. So once he moved it there, I thought that was big. All right, Hunter, who's next?
Detroit Pistons guard
Isaiah.
Isaiah Thomas. The other guard Joe Dumars. Forward Grant Hill. Other forward Ben Wallace. And the center,
I quit.
yeah, I knew you were gonna quit. It wasn't the Wallace he was hoping it was gonna be. And then center Lanier.
Ben Wallace.
Where do we go in our lives where we get to the point where Draymond Green and Ben Wallace are just the greatest fucking things ever? Is because we gave Iguodala and a Finals MVP,
Finals
for
MVP.
giving up 30 a game
I
on
was
who
about to
he
say
was
to
guarding.
LeBron. He let LeBron still score
Like-
30 plus a game.
All right, even if Ben Wallace is a good, you know what Ben Wallace was? He was Rodman, okay? That wasn't a crazy Rodman. But the thing about it is, everything Ben Wallace could do, Rasheed Wallace could do it and score 25 points.
And shoot threes.
Like, Lambier's in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. Ben Rashid always kind of gets he always kind of gets pushed to the side on
Because of his
everything.
attitude. Because of
And
how
I
he
don't think
was.
I don't even think he had that bad of an attitude. I mean,
He just questioned referees.
yeah, I mean, I don't think
They all do
anybody
that.
on the team ever said bad attitude or
No.
coach wise.
Bad teammate. No.
Right.
Every coach that's ever had Rasheed Wallace has said he's the best player they've ever had coach-wise. And it said Rasheed is really smart, and he should be the coach, but he'd never be a coach because, one, he'd get thrown out of every game,
Mm-hmm.
and two, the league wouldn't want to have him as the face of the franchise somewhere. But everyone has said he's really smart and really good. And like you said, he can shoot right and left-handed threes, by the way. He's ambidextrous. So if you put him up there and match him up with, Garnett won one championship.
I
And
know.
he had what, Ray Allen and Paul Pierce on his team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he only won one
So,
championship.
like, to me, they're the same players. Well, Rasheed dusted Duncan in college, I thought. And then when they got in the pros, Rasheed's out in Portland, and Duncan's got all these Hall of Famers around
Can you
him.
imagine if Rasheed would have been in San Antonio?
He would have played great because he's a good basketball. Rasheed's like Rodman, where once you get between those lines, it's basketball time.
basketball.
Like it ain't. So yeah,
I know.
Him and Vince Carter is probably my top two favorite Tar Heels. I never saw Jordan play for a Tar Heel, so I can't say Jordan for a Tar Heel. But those two are my two favorites. I like Stackhouse and I like Hansborough. But Rasheed and Vince Carter is my two favorites.
Dude, Psycho T will always be one of my favorite Tar Heel players ever. I will never forget when they broke his nose in a Duke game, and he just comes back out there bloodied as hell. All right, I don't like this Indiana Pacers lineup. Mostly because
I remember just seeing
I only know
the
one player.
pictures, and I only knew Reggie by seeing the pictures that they were older pictures. And
No, yeah, so it is. They said, if I'm reading this right, 4 of the 5 selections coming from the ABA edition of the franchise. What the hell? I thought this was for the NBA.
Dale Davis was a great player. That whole team that played the Bulls was a
The
great
Indiana Pacers.
loaded.
Freddie
team.
Lewis.
never heard of him.
Exactly. Reggie Miller. You know who Reggie
Yeah,
is. Roger Brown.
never heard of him.
George McGinnis.
Never heard of him.
I have, but
Mel Daniels.
Never heard of him.
Exactly. 4 out of the 5. I thought we were doing for the why do I know the
Mark
ABA? I know
Jackson's,
the
like,
ABA.
fifth all-time assist.
I know the ABA and the NBA merged.
Shit.
I get
And not
that.
even not
But, like,
even
Why not
mention
just do NBA players?
that team that played the Bulls.
He's fourth. I'm sorry. Mark Jackson has more assists than Magic Johnson.
That team that played the Bulls was nasty.
They're deep.
And this guy said Lewis edged out Paul George for the second spot in Indiana's backcourt. Listen, Paul George is damn good. Okay, he was great with Indiana. Paul George was leading
put
Indiana to
Mark
always
Jackson,
just get
Reggie
knocked
Miller-
out by Cleveland and LeBron.
Reggie
That was
Mil-
it.
Mark Jackson, Reggie Miller, who do we say?
Paul George.
Paul George, thank you.
George
Dale
Paul.
Davis was a really good power forward.
You know who else was damn good for the Indiana Pacers until he got hurt was Danny Granger.
Danny Granger was good. There was another Davis that was playing for them
Antonio.
too. Antonio Davis. He was really
He went
good.
to Toronto with the.
So
good-
I think
good
we can all
starter.
sit here and say everybody
How about-
outside of Reggie Miller should not be on this.
All right, so here's
should not be on this
here's
list.
Ranker's top 5. This I like. They've been doing good on this one. That I've been going through theirs. Reggie 1, Paul George 2, Jermaine O'Neal 3, George McGinnis 4, Rick Smits 5, Danny Granger 6, Mark Jackson 7, Jalen Rose 8, Oladipo 9, and Detlef Schrempf 10. Your boy-
Detlef was good, but he was good for Supersonics more.
You know-
Chris Mullen 11th and Ron Artest.
You know who
13th.
could have? You know who could have been on that list if they don't trade him after they draft him? Kawhi Leonard. He was drafted by the Pacers, but they traded him to San Antonio.
I don't see how Ron Artest isn't in your starting lineup.
Shit.
Changes the game forever.
Mouse at the palace, baby. All right.
Changes the game forever.
The Miami Heat.
that they had the best starting lineup of everybody that I thought was put
Shit,
up
that's
there.
because that they doubled up with players who have played
See, they do
somewhere
like
else.
the Lakers, and they do
That's-
exactly like the Lakers, and they
That
get all
was a
these
good-
players
that
from
was a
other
good
places.
lineup.
Yes, because Tim Hardaway. That's a good ball player.
Yes, it
Dwayne
is.
Wade, arguably the best
Yeah.
player to ever play for the Miami
best,
Heat.
Second best point guard all time in
The
my opinion.
forward-
You mean shooting guard?
Third best. I'm sorry.
This
behind
is
Kobe.
this is the playing. This is where they start dipping into guys that are going to be on other lists. The small forward, LeBron James. He's already been on this list for the Cavaliers.
Now they could have still threw Glenn Rice on there, but he's not better than
The other forward,
LeBron.
they did this for the next 3. Well, Alonzo spent most of his career in Miami, so Mourning is there in Miami, and then Shaq as the center.
That is a lineup I would not want to face. But in saying that, gosh, I mean,
I still
That-
think
I
the
wouldn't wanna
Chicago. I
face
still
that at
think
all.
the Chicago lineup was better.
I don't. The only X factor is Jordan. And you piss him off, they're gonna beat you.
No, I'm telling you, man. Because I mean, you can still put Pippen on LeBron.
Yeah, I
you
agree
can
with
have
that.
Jordan on Dwayne Wade, and if we're talking prime 2011 MVP Derrick Rose, he might outplay Tim Hardaway. The only thing Rose can't do is shoot a jump shot. But other than that, he was Russell. People forget that. I say it all the time. He was Russell Westbrook before Russell Westbrook got in the league.
Yeah.
He was that explosive.
The key man in the Heat is at number 17, Ronnie Cycli.
He was everything they had before they got good.
He was the original low top shoe wearer.
Oof.
You could watch TV in the 90s, Hunter,
Oof.
and see everybody on the floor wearing high tops. And here comes one guy in black low tops. They look like church shoes.
And they traded him to the Hornets.
I'll never forget Ronnie Cycli in those shoes. Here's the list for the Heat: D-Wade, LeBron, Lonzo, Hardaway, Chris Bosh, Shaq, Ray Allen, Glenn Rice, Haslam, and Gary Payton. Hassan Whiteside from Gastonia at 11.
You know what?
Steve Smith at
A
12.
lot of those players.
They
were-
would have a 2.
Pretty good team.
Yeah, their backups would come in.
Let me tell you
But you
something.
could put Glenn Rice
I
in
think
as a
that's what I
backup.
don't. I think that's what I
Steve
don't like
Smith?
about it.
My God.
I think that's what I don't like about this right now is a lot of those are transplants. They weren't originally Heat players outside of Dwayne Wade.
Unfortunately, in the era we're going to have, that's what it's always going to be now.
Oh no, yeah. If you just go like that, no one's gonna do just the top 5 of this is who you were drafted by and this is who you're gonna finish with. It'll always be this way, mix and match. Which then is just like cheating because whatever team LeBron James is gonna play for at this time. If LeBron James goes on to play for the Hawks, he's on the Hawks
All
list.
the players that was on that list, everyone I like on
Oh,
there.
you know
except
what?
for,
I wouldn't be surprised. Now it's gonna be tough because they've had a lot of great
Probably need
players.
like a 3-year rule.
Look, I hope it's that
Yeah.
way because, because then Dwight, that's probably why they kept him off of the Hornets. I'm just saying, because if that's the case, LeBron could be on the Western one too because he's with the Lakers. I mean, it's going to be tough because they've had so many great players, but technically it could be.
Wait a minute. His 2-year and a half.
He's been there for 2 years, basically. 2 seasons.
He's
His
not,
2 years with the Lakers are not better than what James Worthy
that's
did.
what I thought James Worthy. Was James
I
Worthy a
know.
power forward or a small
Now,
forward,
see,
though?
we know
He was,
that.
he was small.
Was he?
We know that, but
He
I'm
played
just saying.
both.
But I'm just saying what the writers would do on these lists. So they wouldn't look at what they did while they were there. They'd look
Number
at the player as a
Number
whole.
2, they're not going to make LeBron mad, trust me.
No, they won't. The Milwaukee Bucks at guard, they got Oscar Robertson, Sidney Moncrief, Ray Allen. They went 3 guards and 1 forward and a center. Now I'm confused on how this whole list is about to go for
They're
the rest
making
of
it
the
up as
time.
they go.
Yeah, I was going to say, they made it up as they go, just so they could put Ray Allen on here for the
You
Milwaukee
said the Bucks. If you don't have Kareem on there, you're done.
Kareem is the center.
Okay.
Giannis is their forward, which I'm okay with Giannis.
Sidney Moncrief.
Sidney Moncrief is their guard.
Okay.
That's not bad.
Oscar Robertson, Sidney Moncrief, Ray Allen, Giannis, and Kareem.
It's not bad.
Could you imagine if Giannis learned the sky hook?
What about the big dog?
A big
Glenn
dog.
Robinson.
Glenn. The New York Knicks. Now they're back to the 2 guards, 2 forwards, and a center.
George-
They made the exception so they could put Ray Allen on that
George
list.
Gervin.
Huh?
He didn't play for the Knicks.
Who did he play for?
Spurs.
Really?
Walt Frazier.
Maybe I was thinking of Walt.
Walt Frazier. Earl Monroe. Carmelo
Pearl.
Anthony. Willis Reed, and Patrick Ewing.
There's not a better
Carmelo's
small forward than Carmelo.
Carmelo's going to be on the Western too because he'll be on there for the Nuggets.
He might be the only player.
Oh, is this on the East teams?
Yeah, this
it's
is
on
only
the
East teams. This is not West.
ain't
They
done that
ain't
yet.
done the West yet. It probably would have been too long of a
When's that going to be
column.
tomorrow? They got enough time to do
Yeah, the editor told him,
Too many
look,
games
save
today
it.
to
Yeah, no,
cut.
the editor said, look, save it. We need something for tomorrow. So Walt Frazier, Earl Monroe, Carmelo Anthony, Willis Reed, and Patrick Ewing are the all-time starting 5 for the Knicks that they would have done. Carmelo had good years with the Knicks, just the team as
Who
a
was the
whole
power forward?
sucked. Willis Reed.
I was thinking Bernard King. But
I mean, Larry Johnson.
Yep.
But Willis Reed, probably.
The Orlando Magic.
All right, Penny.
Yeah.
Little Penny.
T-Mac.
Yeah.
Grant Hill.
No.
Shit.
Shaq.
Yeah.
I don't
Dwight
want.
Howard.
I don't even want to do this.
Yeah.
Dwight Howard
Is
and
is
Shaq.
Penny, Nick Anderson, McGrady, Dwight Howard, and Shaq?
How,
Anderson.
how about this team, Zach? Take Nick Anderson off and put in who I just said.
Tracy McGrady?
Grant Hill.
Oh, yeah.
If you got Penny, T-Mac, and Grant Hill, which
It's
is
a very
all
good
pretty much
team.
the exact
And then you
same
got-
player.
Shaq and Dwight. That's a tough team.
Tracy McGrady was disgusting.
Only thing you start doing is fouling the heck out of Dwight and Shaq.
That's the best team.
Very good.
You think it's the best?
I still
team?
like
No,
my,
no.
I still like my Heat.
Wait, let me back
You're
that
talking about
up.
the best
Well,
Orlando.
let me back that up. That is not the best team with Nick Anderson. You put Grant Hill in for Nick Anderson, I'm telling you, that's the best team.
People forget how good Grant Hill was. There was I watched an All-Star game where Grant Hill
was disgusting.
he was just he could get to the basket really. He was smooth. If he didn't get hurt,
He was a threat to be the next Jordan. People thought he would be the next Jordan before Kobe was.
yeah,
And then
he blew out Achilles. I think it was an Achilles.
his best years. Well, he had ankles. His best year, Zach, though, he averaged 25.8 was his best year. 5 and 6 that year. I mean he would get the triple double. He was 25 and 5 every night. So he was the Scottie Pippen, the T Mac, Penny Hardaway. They're all those
Pete
guys
Maravich.
are the same together. Yeah, Pete Maravich did better than that. He averaged 27.
The Philadelphia 76ers.
Barkley, Moses Malone.
Moses Malone.
Was Moses on the field? Yeah, he was on there when Barkley was on there.
He's not on this.
What?
Unless he went by a name before, he's not on this. It is Allen Iverson, Hal Greer, Julius Erving, Charles Barkley, and Wilt Chamberlain.
I just, like you said, there's you know.
He's
you-
right. Hey,
Every-
this is ESPN. That's why I don't like it.
Every team has different qualifications for why you
But
have
you could
someone
put
on it.
Moses
signed to
Malone
one.
at power forward, drop Barkley down to small forward.
If you really want.
Well, they have Julius Erving listed here as small
you can put
forward,
him at
and
shoot guard.
they've got Charles Barkley here at
Chamberlain
forward.
played 4 years in Philly. So there you go.
There you go.
Any other teams? Was that the last team?
No,
on
the
that?
last one. There are two more.
Okay.
The Toronto Raptors.
Stoudemire, Carter, McGrady.
Well,
Antonio
okay,
Davis.
What'd you say? I promise you, only one that you've listed has been on there.
Shit.
Only one of them that you've listed has been on there.
Damon Stoudemire and McGrady
It's
and Carter.
Carter is the only one that's on there that you've
Damon
listed.
Stoudemire,
Kawhi
McGrady, and
Leonard.
Carter. That's,
Kawhi Leonard is on there, so they are doing the 1 year thing because he's only there for a year.
Who would be a center for them? Chris Bosh.
That's exactly who it is. Chris
I don't
Bosh
have a
is
problem
the
with
center.
Chris Bosh.
And their two
The
guards
first
are the
three that
ones
he
that have
said-
they
been
Yeah.
drafted a center at number 1. Valanciunas.
Mm-hmm. He had
Or
a
but
pan there.
or Bosiani. Not Andre. Who was they draft?
I thought Valanciunas
The
was
top,
there.
The top three that he said was
I'm
your
wrong
best
on that
guards and
They didn't
small
draft it
forward.
number 1 overall.
That's a good.
The two
Two
guards
guards
that they
and
got
small
are the
forward.
ones that
Was
was
it
that were
Bargnani? Is that the one that got
the
drafted?
two
one
guards
overall?
that they have listed for the Raptors. The ones everybody knows: Kyle Lowry and DeMar DeRozan. Now, could you have imagined
Kyle
if this
Lowry
team
is
would have
better than Damon Stoudemire, and T Mac is way better than DeMar DeRozan.
And see, that was prime T-Mac
T-Mac.
still.
Prime T Mac.
Listen,
That was
I want people
starting
to think
prime
about that.
T-Mac.
T-Mac and Vince Carter at one time were on the same team.
T Mac was awesome for Orlando.
If the team trades you
That's who I've always said.
and
if
they
he doesn't get
immediately
hurt.
win the championship, you're not.
Long timer. T Mac was nasty good.
Okay, so we got It was Bargnani, Andrea Bargnani, the 2006 Toronto Raptors. Listen to these number 1 picks. You know, we talk football, how much of a gamble it is. You want to go through the
Well,
basketball?
let's just finish this last
I thought
team.
that was
No,
last.
this
Sorry.
is the last team right here.
Excuse me.
The Wizards. Center, Wes Unseld.
He wasn't even. He was for that team, but he was only 6'9". But okay, that's not.
Forward is
acceptable.
Elvin Hayes.
And then you've got
Forward is Gus Johnson.
Then you got Gilbert Arenas,
He's not on the
Didn't
list.
Bernard King play for Bullets?
They didn't put Agent Zero on the list.
Rasheed Wallace,
He's not on the list.
Juwan Howard.
The first guard I'll
Rod
list
Strickland.
is Earl Monroe. The other guard is the only one on this list, maybe outside of Elvin Hayes, that I agree with. It's my favorite player, John Wall. Now, people can talk shit about John Wall all they want, but he is the all-time team leader in assists and steals. And the man can go out there and get you 20 and 10 like it's nothing. Just he happened to have torn his Achilles and hadn't been able to play the last 2 years.
All right, so Jordan's at the 2, right?
Yeah, I don't give a fuck. You can put Jordan at the 2.
Is he on their list?
I mean,
Is he
He's
on?
not. No, he's
Listen,
not on this.
if-
If they're gonna flip and flop between teams,
How is Earl Monroe on the list and Jordan's not?
I was about to say if they're gonna. Well,
Shit.
now I want you to think about this. Earl Monroe is on this list. First of all, Michael Jordan's not. But they didn't even put Bradley Beal at the 2. They didn't even think about
Did you
putting
even
Bradley.
know Earl Monroe played for the
Bradley
Bullets?
Beal.
No.
Bradley Beal went on for a whole month of averaging 30 points this year. I'm just saying, the kid can ball.
I know.
So there you
Listen,
go.
Hunter, if one thing has been proven over and over is our Mount Rushmores are way better and more accurate than any list anyone else does.
At
anywhere.
ESPN.
At whatever
Idiot
sports network
ESPN.
you want, you name
I'll
it.
call him Idiot ESPN.
We'll name it. So,
So there. I mean, there for everybody that was listening. I know it took a little while,
So-
but it was this was ESPN's
Listen.
all-time starting 5 for every Eastern
Earl
Conference team
Monroe
in the NBA.
played for the Baltimore Bullets. Wasn't even in Washington for 5 years. And he actually had scored more points for Baltimore than he did for the Knicks.
Well, I've got my nomination. Bernard King played
He was badass.
5 years for them. In his last year for them, he averaged 28, 5, and 5.
Look, man, if
28,
you're gonna
5,
if you're
5.
gonna tell me I need to replace a guard on the Wizards team, I promise you I'm not replacing Wall.
Well,
but
Bernard
I'm
King's
talking. I'm
power
bringing the
forward.
guy that brought a gun. Okay, I'm getting Agent Zero. All right,
Did
I'll
they not
take
have
Gilbert
Bernard
Arenas.
King?
No,
he didn't have him on
he's
the list.
28, 5, and 5. In his last year for them, he was 22, 5, and 5 the year before, 20, 4, and 4.
Hunter, if I could guarantee to get thousands of hits on these things, I would just print out these lists every day. Like,
Yeah, I know.
Hunter might not know who Bernard King is, okay? Bernard King in the 84-85 Knicks averaged 32.9 for the whole season.
I mean, John Wall right now in his career is average, and this is because he's missed 2 seasons too, mind you. If he would have played these 2
Hunter,
seasons,
pull up that list too after you get done with Wall.
okay. I'm just saying, John Wall is right now is on the cusp of averaging 20 and 10 on his career.
If Bernard King's knees hadn't given out on him,
I will say Wall.
So wait, bring up this list. Let me
Yeah,
scroll back up. Which one?
Go to
This-
that Wizards
the
thing.
Wiz.
The Wall, he does surprise me with the amount of assists he gets. So I don't have anything negative to say about him. I would kick Earl Monroe's ass off there and put in Gilbert Arenas.
People don't give Wall as credit to as a 2-way guard. Dude can rip anybody, and he's the fastest player
Is that
on the
the
court.
same Gus Johnson that's the announcer? Or is that a dumbass question? That could be a dumbass question for you folks. Elvin Hayes. Jesus Christ. Yeah, Zach. Unseld was the center on there.
I probably would have kept Hayes on there. The only 2 I agreed with was John Wall, and Elvin Hayes.
Yeah, you'd probably have to have no. Elvin Hayes is not a. How many years did he play for them? Wasn't he in a Clippers?
I'm just talking about the ones that they've listed right here. I mean, obviously that I knew it was dumb when they didn't even think about putting Gilbert Arenas on there.
No.
I think he was an honorable mention. Yeah, Bradley Beal is emerging into a force. Was one of the franchise's best, and Gilbert Arenas brought fireworks, good and bad.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is that what they say?
that's
about him?
literally what they said, good
But
and bad.
he's just because he brought a gun to the practice doesn't mean he wasn't the best damn player they had forever.
I mean, come on now. Come on. Damn, he was just following the footsteps of Rodman.
Hey,
Rodman did the same damn thing.
Agent Zero is a nutbag, but he's still.
Agent Zero was pulling up from the logo because he just didn't care.
All right, Hunter. There's your.
There's our basketball
there's
for
your
the
basketball
day.
that you had to
They
get
are.
into.
they were horrible.
They all
Horrible
are.
pick. Horrible picks.
For you, Kevin's already said it. He thinks that the best lineup, if they made one change and replaced it with Grant Hill, was the Orlando Magic one.
That was a good line. Who was the starting shooting point guard for them?
Penny,
Oh, yeah.
Penny.
Grant
Good one.
Hill, McGrady, Dwight Howard, and Shaq. Like, okay, y'all bring whatever else you want to the party. I got 3, 6, 8 guys that can dribble and play
Yeah.
defense, and then I got 2 centers that nobody can athletically deal with.
I think.
Because, yeah,
I'd
you
like to
have
see
to
that
take
in that
into
Heat lineup.
consideration.
I would.
The Heat lineup have got.
I'd like to see that versus
the
that
Heat lineup
I
have
think it'd
got Shaq still, but he's not.
It got fat
He's not.
Shaq.
They got Fat Shaq. I was
Yeah.
gonna say it's not thin,
25-year-old
dominant
Shaq.
25-year-old Shaq.
They got 22-9 Shaq.
Yeah,
No,
they do have.
They had 22-9 Shaq. They had 22-9 Alonzo.
And they have averaging 30 in his first finals appearance ever. Dwayne Wade. Actually, I think he averaged 34.
The one kicker they would have would be Dwayne to take the final shot.
Tom asked about Ben
Yeah, I
Simmons.
seen that.
Ben Simmons can jump off of it.
Yeah, he's.
Well, he's
and Horace
asking that
Grant.
because-
Ben, we don't know about Ben Simmons yet. I have faith in Ben Simmons. The problem is that how they built that team around him does not complement his
Ben
game.
Simmons can kiss my ever-loving ass.
You're just mad at him because of what he said to you. You just don't like him because of what he said to you. Which
Ask
I'm
him-
not gonna lie, that was on his remark. That was a dumbass remark. But
Ask him if they thought they could win the championship. And he told me it was a dumb question. Bad question. Dumb question, bad question, bro. Whatever it was.
I still think
Either
the
way,
Chicago Bulls
he didn't
line
get
up.
out of the second round.
That's what I was saying. How far did he get?
Second round.
when was that? 2018.
2 years ago.
So was that when they got beat by the shot with Kawhi?
It might have been.
Beat by
I'm
the
not
shot?
sure.
That was last year.
Was it?
No. 2 years. You're right.
Yeah.
Because last year Kawhi was with.
Was
No,
with the Clippers.
I'm all muddy. Cause this out.
It's weird because
muddy.
I hate it when they run into the next
Yeah.
season because it's like you start in damn September and run all the way to April of the next season. It's like they call it the 1920 season. I'm like,
Yeah, I'm
back
off.
in the 2019 season. No. Is it the 18-19 season or the 1920
Yeah.
season? I'm
It
like,
was-
shut the fuck up.
It wasn't this year. It was the year before.
Yeah. They were
'Cause
the
they
last.
have- it was
They
the
were the
last
last one.
playoff
They were the
series.
last one to win the championship. There's been nobody to win the championship since. So as of today, the Toronto Raptors are still the reigning NBA champions.
That is very true.
I'm glad we fixed that.
That is 100% true.
I'm glad we got that all fixed. I'm glad we're all on the same page now. And I'm glad we can agree that
All
the
right.
writer at ESPN don't know what the hell he's doing.
All right, Zach, let's talk a little bit Jordan since we brought up
Yeah.
the NBA. The last dance was Sunday, the last of the last dance. Want to make a couple of quick notes. Here's all the people who won championships while Michael Jordan was a Chicago Bull. Jordan 6, Magic 3, Isaiah 2, Bird 1, Michael was hurt, Elijah 1, Michael comeback. So in Jordan's 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 years in Chicago, 2 of them were were shortened seasons. So do the math on it. 6 out of 11 full seasons, he won the championship. That's 55% of the championship. 54% of the championships he won
And if you
That
take
he
him up
played
to 88 with Pippen,
that he played.
when he had somebody to help him,
Yeah.
he won. It was a better percentage.
So while Jordan was in the league, only 4 other guys led their teams to championships. Magic 3, Isaiah 2, Bird, and Elijah 1. Magic, Isaiah, and Bird was all before he got Pippen, basically.
Yeah.
Now, what about LeBron? Here's all the people who's won championships or led their team to championships while LeBron has been in the league. Garnett or Pierce, whichever one you want to call. I say Garnett.
Kobe.
Dirk, Kawhi, Billups, D. Wade, and Steph Curry.
Kobe didn't win it.
Hold on, I'm up. I ain't
Oh,
got to
oh,
him
I
yet.
thought you-
That's one championship. Those are 6 guys all won a championship. Now remember, Michael only gave up 7 championships in his career with the Bulls, period, to other people. 6 other people won one championship. Can you see, Zach, Dirk or Kawhi or Wade and Fat Shaq beating any of those Bulls teams? Or the Celtics getting out of the East against them, or that Pistons team getting out of the East on the Bulls. Now, here's the guys who's won 2 championships while LeBron's been in the league. Kobe, Durant have led their teams to 2. When I say one, I mean led their teams. Led their teams to 2 championships. Kobe with 2 with the Gasol and Bynum, and then Durant 2 in Golden State. Then 3 championships. LeBron has 3. It is the most since he's been in the league, but he's tied with one other.
Dwayne.
Timothy Duncan.
Yeah.
So in LeBron's career, 17. We'll go 16 full seasons because this was the 17th, and then it had a playoffs yet. So in 16 years, he's won 3 championships. What's the percentage on that? It's not 54%. 7, 8, 9 other guys have led their teams to a championship. 9 other guys. Jordan let 4 dudes lead a championship. One of them he was hurt, and the other one he was barely there with Elijah. So, I mean, you talk about the competition, what they went up against, and who they beat, and everything. Like, he shut the league down for his second half of his career. We kind of touched a little bit on it Monday. Anything specific that you didn't know or saw or wanted to talk about?
Two things that I noticed that Jordan didn't know that Phil had the conversation with Reinsdorf about keeping the team together.
Right.
Because you could tell by his answer, he didn't know that conversation went on, because he said he could have put it back together.
Yeah, Jordan would have talked him into it.
I don't think Pippen would have came back.
I think he would have.
Do you?
Phil was the problem, and I said this Monday. He was always the problem. Him and Krause didn't like each other. That's an organizational thing. Krause thought he could replace Phil once, and isn't it funny though that he's the one that put Phil in that spot? Is that not the weirdest thing about it, Hunter? He put Phil in that spot. He hired him. He got rid of Doug Collins just for that, and then now all of a sudden
Fired Doug Collins mid-season,
and then now all of a sudden, I don't want this guy anymore. If he goes 82-0,
and you know, I noticed that. And the second thing, because my next observation goes into that part, that was the next season was the shortened season where they had the strike when the San Antonio won it. Was Duncan's rookie year.
Right.
I think the Bulls would have been a better team than them. It's I thought they was good together, but
who on the Spurs is guarding Michael Jordan?
Right. And I would even have to think back to who was
Vinny Del Negro.
Was that who it was? Yeah, that's it, definitely.
Avery Johnson, Vinny Del Negro, and Sean Elliott were the starters.
Elliott
was good.
He was good till he had that.
But those three ain't beating Pippen and Jordan.
There was a poll that I saw. I think it was either this morning or yesterday.
The Spurs would have been a really tough matchup, real quick, because the Bulls could deal with one center kicking their butts. They did it for years. You know, they swept Shaq the year or a few years before
Ewing.
when he come back. He beat Ewing more than anybody. But 2 7-footers would have been a problem, because then you had to have to spend Rodman expending all of his energy.
He's all on Duncan,
and he would have been all over Duncan his rookie year. Are you taking a rookie Duncan against crazy Rodman? No.
I was just gonna say, I saw it was a poll, and the question was, who do you think was the reason for the Bulls not coming back after they obviously won in an opportunity of winning their 7th championship? And some of the list, some of the answer choices, there was 4, but I know there were 2 of them obviously that stood out. One of them was Krause, or there was 3 of them that stood out. It was Krause, Reinsdorf, and Phil. I cannot remember what the fourth was that you could click. Doesn't matter. I clicked Krause just because I know that a lot of people want to put it on. Obviously, after what happened in episode 7, Reinsdorf came out and said that he tried to get Phil to come back. Reinsdorf technically could be lying
Krause
about
being
that.
dead, he seemed to me
Krause
like
dead?
yeah. It seemed to me
dead.
like he was doing a lot to help put the blame on
Krause
Krause as opposed
now,
to his pocketbook.
Also, Phil Jackson did say that he had that conversation with Reinsdorf. So I don't think Reinsdorf might have been lying about that.
Now,
but Phil Jackson made a very good point on why I didn't click on Phil Jackson on that poll, thinking that a lot of people still thought it was Jerry Krause compared to Phil Jackson. But I've seen a lot of people in the media say it was Phil Jackson's fault because he didn't try and come back. And I still put most of the blame on Krause because Krause basically said this is the end-all be-all from the beginning. I don't care. And he pushed Phil Jackson into such a corner where Phil Jackson, probably halfway through the season, his whole mindset was, well, it's done. Reinsdorf said he didn't even approach Phil Jackson during the season. It was after the season was over. So when Phil Jackson's
that night after one championship.
Not everyone.
Phil Jackson's mind, he was like, it's done.
Right.
And I can agree with Phil Jackson because, he seems kind of like a respectable guy. He's like, look, he didn't want to kind of undermine Krause either. He felt like that would have been undermining Jerry Krause if Reinsdorf came in and he just jumped over what Jerry Krause wanted to be. Now, I know Reinsdorf has the end-all be-all say because he is the owner, and the owner can do whatever he wants. But to me, still the mastermind of why the season was over was Jerry Krause. Because I think Phil Jackson would have still came back if Krause doesn't tell him, I don't care if you go 82-0 and win a championship, but you're not coming back.
What type of ego does Krause have to say? And then Reinsdorf, that bull, afterwards saying that, they aged themselves out and they contract themselves out, and that's what shut down the Bulls. And then for Krause to say, you can win 82 and I don't care, I'm going to replace you. Like,
the front office screwed that.
If they were that confident in all of that, why didn't they trade Michael? If you're that good, if you're that smart, Jerry, but whichever Jerry I'm talking to right now, why didn't you just
That
trade
is kinda
Michael?
confusing. So I was
You
like,
sit here
Jerry,
and-
I'm like,
you
which
sit
one?
here and they try to put the blame on everyone else. And Jerry Reinsdorf is cheap as crap, but Krause had to have he wanted so much credit for what they did. And what did he do, Zach? He drafted Pippen. Well, okay, but besides that, you traded Will Perdue for Dennis Rodman. That's not like a mastermindful trade. Like the Spurs were trying to get rid of Rodman.
Two things that I saw. If you watched any of Krause, because they had the videotape, and you see Krause, he looked so uncomfortable anytime that camera was around. It was like
He probably didn't know what was going to be asked.
I don't even know if I'm talking about like
'Cause
him
he
being
really
around
didn't
the
know how to
players, him
di-
being around everything. He did not like those guys. And if
Well,
him and Phil had
He knew.
the back,
I think it was one of
back
those
and
things
forth.
where like he could feel it and almost cut the tension with a knife when he was near those guys.
he had the back and forth with Phil, and then and there's something that come up about Phil that he made the comment, and I don't know if it was on this or it was after. He said nobody's ever going to remember Pippen, Paxson,
That was after
Kerr, or me. They're only going to remember one,
Michael.
and that's Michael. Was he thinking that when he was like, I've got to get out of here, I want to try to do it with another team, so my name is cemented?
I don't
That's a
know.
possibility.
You know, Skip Bayless was preaching that he had an a hidden agreement with the Lakers regardless.
Possible.
That don't surprise. That wouldn't surprise me.
That's what
at
I'm
all.
thinking.
It wouldn't surprise me at all.
Not
Because he only took a season off and then he came back with the Lakers.
and then
While they had a young
he
Kobe.
was set up.
In his defense,
that.
with Kobe, yeah, in his defense also with Phil on that is who wants to go? If your employer said, "I'm going to fire you at the end of the year," and the end of the year and be like, "Hey, you want one more?" Like a lot of
Right.
people have probably already planned
Yeah.
to
Agree.
move on,
Which,
to go
yeah.
somewhere else.
Which
Buy
is
a
why-
house.
which
have
is why I'm
everything in
not-
the works.
Like
yeah.
who wants to live in
I'm
Chicago?
not putting, and that's
Yeah.
why I don't put all the blame on Phil Jackson
And-
because he basically was pushed. Like, hey, I got to start looking for another job, man.
When did Shaq go? He went 90. Did he go 96 to the Lakers? Is that right? Or was it?
I'm not 100% sure on that one. I just had him up.
I was thinking just thinking in my head. Who was on the Lakers when the Bulls won their last championship? And I think that was Shaq's first year with the Lakers, 96, 97.
Might have been.
And I think that's the year they drafted Kobe, 96.
Kobe was drafted in '96.
That would have made them.
They didn't have
Eddie.
Shaq on the team yet. Kobe was there before Shaq.
Was he?
Yeah.
He would have been drafted. Then they got Shaq.
Remember,
and
we got Divas.
In the
It was
90
Eldon Campbell.
That was in the
trade.
'96 trade. And then they had Eddie. What was his name? Shooting guard. Eddie Jones.
Eddie Jones. We ended
He's
up
a
with
good shooting
him.
guard,
We
yeah.
ended up him after he went to Miami
Yeah.
and then back up.
Shaquille
So-
O'Neal ended up with the Lakers in the 97. 96, 97
That
season.
same year they got Kobe. So when Phil left there 1 year, and then because Van Exel was with them too, and then Phil had his hands full trying to get them to go to the Triangle. But
He was in 2 years, Zach. He got there in the 97 season, so that means Shaq was with the Lakers for 2 years and didn't make the finals in those 2 years, and then didn't make it in the third year, and then finally made it in the fourth year.
I think that the Spurs actually knocked them out
Yeah, they did.
because they had Van Exel, Eddie Jones, Shaq. Good. It was a good team.
Shaq went to LA in '96. Yeah. The thing about Pippen, he was drafted by. He wasn't even drafted by the Bulls technically, so it's not like
There's a
Krause
draft
and-
day trade for
Yeah,
him.
it was. Think of Olden Polynice. Here's the people drafted after Pippen: Kenny Smith, Kevin Johnson, Polynice 3 spots back, Derek McKee, Horace Grant was actually in the same draft from the Bulls. So they got Grant and Pippen in the same year.
That's pretty good.
So there's your draft. And then Muggsy went 12th, Zach, in that draft, right behind him. Reggie Miller went 1 spot ahead of Muggsy Bogues. Would you?
Wow! Could
Did you know that Muggsy went
imagine
12th
that?
overall?
I didn't know Muggsy went 12th,
I
but
didn't
I
either.
didn't know that. Could you imagine if the Hornets got Reggie?
Here's who Muggsy went ahead of: Joe Wolf from North Carolina. Bunch of guys I've never heard of: Tellus Frank, Jose Ortiz, Christian Welp, Ronnie Murphy. Mark Jackson went 18, went ahead of Mark Jackson. Muggsy did. So you got your choice in today's society, Hunter. Would an NBA GM pick a 5'3" Muggsy over a 6'3" Mark Jackson?
No.
They wouldn't even discuss it, would they? The fans would blow up Twitter if one of these teams drafted Muggsy Bogues. Reggie Lewis went 22nd. for other famous guys in that draft. I'm looking back, ain't really nobody else. Sarunas Marciulionis was dead last in that draft actually. So NBA draft history. I did want to go through this real quick. Think about. Let's do hit or miss. Okay, let's just do that. Okay, count them up, Zach, if you can. We'll go 2000. So 20 years of number ones. Kenyon Martin.
I thought it was good.
He did what he needed to
I
do.
thought it was good. I like Kenyon Martin.
Kmart.
Kwame Brown.
Horrible.
Yeah.
Yao Ming.
Good.
Great.
LeBron.
Yeah.
Great.
Dwight Howard.
Yep.
Great.
Bogut.
Man. He's got a championship,
That's in. Yeah.
but it was with the Golden State
I'm gonna say he was.
Warriors.
I'm gonna say he's a bust.
He did what he needed to do. I mean, he wasn't great.
understand
but
this.
Did they
he
live
what he
up
needed.
to the number one overall pick?
Oh no.
Bargnani. No. Greg Oden.
No.
No. All right, Derrick Rose.
Yes.
I'm gonna give him a yes because he won the MVP. Blake Griffin.
Yeah.
John Wall.
Yes.
Kyrie.
Yes.
Anthony Davis.
Yes.
Anthony Bennett.
No.
Horrible.
Anthony Wiggins.
No.
Or Andrew Wiggins. He's averaged 25 points a game this year.
So what did he do before that?
He averaged 25 in Minnesota.
I mean, he really has not.
He
been
can't help
great.
it. Everywhere he's been is awful. But yeah, okay, I'll put him down as
I don't think
a
he's-
number one overall
as a not.
pick.
Could you have gotten him at like a 3 or a 4? Absolutely.
Okay,
He wasn't.
I agree.
Sometimes this all just comes down to how that draft class looks.
What about the cat, Karl Anthony Towns?
I think so. He's a walking double-double.
Ben Simmons?
Yeah.
Markelle Fultz?
No.
DeAndre Ayton?
No. That's still too early to tell, though. He was
And-
like 2 years ago.
And Zion was this year.
I think Zion's going to be.
He's going to be.
I think he's going to be quick and then done. I don't think he's going to be longevity at all.
Unless he gets his body right.
I think John Morant's going to be better than him.
I think
long career.
Long term, I
Have we
love
not
Ja.
seen a 6'8", muscle-bound, left-handed, 360 dunker in the ACC before? Think about it. We've seen Zion before. Played in Winston-Salem.
Rodney Monroe.
No, not Monroe. Rogers.
I mean Rodney Rogers. That's what I meant to say. Not Monroe.
Rodney
I'm sorry. I meant Rodney
Rogers.
Rogers. Yes, he
Yes.
was. I loved Rodney Rogers.
I mean, there's
He's one of
video,
my favorite players.
right? There's video on the internet
Listen.
of Rodney Rogers doing 360s in the ACC. He was 6'7", 235. I mean,
Zion gets his body to like 270, maybe
don't think he will.
265. I said if.
Yeah,
Then he's got an opportunity to play for a long time.
I think he's a 5 or 6 year window, and he's over. That's just my opinion.
That'd be the worst thing in the world. Because ESPN's set up for a 10-year run with him.
I don't think he will be. I don't. I think he's going to implode.
I
on his
will
body.
agree with you like this, though. I think John Morant will have a better career than Zion.
Chris Nelson said Peppers.
oh yeah, Peppers.
yeah,
back
he
there.
was awesome with.
He have Zion.
He was left-handed.
John
too. I
Morant will
forgot
have
the
a
left-hand
better
part.
career than Zion because I trust the Memphis Grizzlies organization more than I do Pelicans. Now, the Pelicans got talent all over the board. God almighty, they rebuilt basically half of any player that went
Yeah.
to Duke. They got Lonzo, who's turned it around since he's been there. All the young players that were in L.A. outside of Kyle Kuzma's there. They got a ton of talent with the Pelicans. The problem is, first of all, this is the problem for both of them, Zion and Ja. They're in the West. The West is still loaded. God forbid, every star in the world wants to go play in the West because they want to play it probably in L.A. at some point. That's what's really hurting them. And two, if you want to look at it this way, to me, the Memphis Grizzlies have a better organization than the Pelicans, but it's not by much. Like, they're both bottom feeders right now, really. Memphis was fighting for Memphis. That's what's so crazy. You know, Zion went 1, Ja went 2. Memphis and New Orleans were both fighting for that 8 seed. So it was either going to be Ja or Zion making the playoffs in their first season. So, to me, I think Ja will have the better career. I think Zion has got special talent written all over him, though. If he does make it, he has to make it more than 5 or 6 years. He has to.
Let me ask you, do you know? I don't know if any of you have paid attention to what's going on. Has anyone heard or seen like the end date? Has the NBA set an official? Because at some point the contracts run out, and so
The
what you have to do,
original
because what you have
plan
to do,
was to hopefully have something in place by Monday, which was Memorial Day weekend.
What they're going to do, from what I've heard, is as soon as they set a date, they're going right into playoffs. Correct?
well, No, what I
I
don't
heard
know.
they
What
might do a week or two of at least letting them get back into game shape.
But what I'm asking is that have they set a date to where if we don't come back yet,
It's
next
over.
the season's over
Yeah.
next year? Because I think
Originally, I thought it was Memorial Day.
Bogdanovich, not the tall one, the other one, not Boban, but Bogdan, whatever.
Oh, from the Pacers.
yes, the shooting guard. He just had season-ending surgery the other day.
You did.
At what point,
Was on his
if you're
hand
these
or his wrist or
basketball
something?
players waiting on the season, do you say I'm going to have this surgery, or I can't play, or I don't want to play?
Colin talked to Enos Cantor on air.
I don't think they'll play,
and
period.
Cantor said if they do come back, which is what obviously he wants, he said, we know I've talked to a lot of our guys, we want to play. He said, but we don't want to go straight in the playoffs. He said, you'll have too many injuries. You go from guys not playing for 3 months to all of a sudden, it's not just a regular season game. This is playoff. So you want to win and you're just going pedal to the metal the whole time. Somebody's going to get hurt because they weren't able to get back in shape. He said a mini camp would be fine for like a week. He said, but you have to give us at least a whole like an extra week of play, like get back up to speed, get yourself playing in shape. So if they did that, I think what they're trying to do is as long as they could get this season in and done before Christmas, where there's like a solid gap in
You
between
think we're
Christmas.
going that late?
No, not that late. They are hoping that if they do have to push it back, that they only have to push back next season's start to Christmas.
Well,
That's
see,
what I'd seen on.
My
reports.
major question on that is like because these the team contracts, player contracts.
If I'm not
end at a
mistaken,
certain date.
originally I think the plan was they had to have something in place by Memorial Day weekend, which is this weekend, and I don't think they have it.
Okay, so again, what I'm getting at is the players' contracts end at a certain point. So at some point, they have to say the contracts are about to be over. We do have to prepare for next season because, in part of that, Hunter, is guys are going to want to move and not be on the same teams they were. The contracts will end, and the thing about it is, getting ready for next season. Say if you want to start start January 1st, they still need to have the players on their teams by say December 1st.
Yeah.
So when in some type of they'll have to have the draft, free agency. So you're looking at, I'm guessing maybe 2 months before you would have to at least. The question is that if I'm an upcoming free agent this year, if it's September and I planned on signing with the Lakers or whoever this summer, am I going to be happy about sitting in Milwaukee in September, or wherever you are, as opposed to where you thought you would be in September on a new team and getting ready for that? And that's what I'm concerned about with the Players Association. At what point do they start pressing where? Do they say, we've got contracts that are ending and need to be fulfilled? And I think that's going to be a big issue on that. Honestly, guys, prep in college sports I don't see playing until January because of lawyers. I just can't see it happening. Hunter, and I think I said something. It was either Andre or Zach a while ago. How do you tell me that it's okay for, say, the high school football players to tackle each other, but the parents can't come sit in the stands 6 feet away from each other, not tackling each other?
Right.
So, and then what's your excuse say if you're in college? So we're gonna run these players on this field, and we're gonna have no fans.
Right.
They're touching each other. The fans aren't touching each other. But we're gonna make money off TV, while the coaches, I'm guessing, aren't gonna be losing their pay. So you're gonna see you're gonna have, say.
Well, technically,
example,
coaches wouldn't lose their pay anyways because they'd still be considered. Most coaches are teachers, so they're already getting a teacher salary, and then on top of that, just for being a coach, whatever little bit of bonus you get for coaching.
Well, I was thinking college. I was about to say.
Oh, you're about to say.
I thought you were talking
about
it's
high
going to look real
school.
bad if Nick Saban on TV
Oh,
making $9 million
$9
and all of his players playing for free.
And
Now remember,
nobody's there.
Saban's not touching people. So would that not mean that Saban is being paid millions of dollars for these kids to risk their lives? Because at what point do you say, are we risking our lives and our health?
The SEC,
Right.
as of right now, is planning to have a football season on time. in college football.
Ain't
The
no way.
the SEC is going to do everything in their power to get a football season because they even said they came out and said, well, I don't know why this thing is.
They usually start out about 2 weeks before the NFL.
The SEC is saying that if some states won't open, they'll double up Alabama Auburn games.
Now, pros are different. You're a professional. You're an adult. You're getting paid. You're agreeing to be there. You're in a labor union. You're in all kinds of things. But how do you, Zach, say your kid's sitting in college, and you're quarantined at home? You can't go here. You can't go eat dinner somewhere. And then Coach Saban, whoever's going to call you and say, Zach, I need you to Saturday to play football. Like, how does that weigh on these families that aren't making any money, don't have any money? We talk about this name, image, likeness, a thing that was brought up the other day, and I found very interesting. Like, man, they're probably right about this. Hunter, who has more followers online? College athletes or hot looking girls on the average? So you think about that, who's going to make all the sponsorship money when you start doing name, image, likeness? It's going to be the girls' teams. So they start cutting these teams and cutting these schools. Like those, I think one of the estimates was in the last Olympics, I can't remember the girl's name, that she could have made the year before $500,000 in sponsorships. And then the NCAA says, no, you can't do that. And so to me, like, just think about all just any type of pretty softball player or whatever is going to get some endorsements. And when you just think about those, then you think, man, those guys are going to make a lot of money. Then what about all the star football players, star basketball players? And then, like I said, that the NCAA saying you can't make money off your likeness, but the coach is going to make money off of your likeness and Alabama's likeness. We're going to pay him $5 to $10 million. And by the way, you may get COVID-19. You may get the coronavirus. You may get it. But other than that, we're just going to play and pay all the pay. They're cutting these schools. None of them's talking about the presidents aren't cutting their jobs.
Do you know what's so crazy? I was listening to this coming down. Seriously, it was like an NBC health update or something. I was listening to it on the radio. So a lot of schools are not going back into session in the fall, right? They're not letting students come back. Do you know what one school said they are, and they're cutting fall break for the students so that they don't go nowhere? Notre Dame. I wonder how many students hear that and don't just transfer so fast. Because this was his thinking about it. He said, look, if we can get them here, this is what they have him on record because I heard him, they played the audio. They said, if we can get them here and get them tested and they're clear and don't let them go nowhere, then they can't bring any pathogens back. Oh, okay. So you're just going to essentially quarantine the kids to the school? Come on now. Come on now, Notre Dame. Let's not be this dumb. Let's not be this stupid. Okay.
Well, everything is so confusing and stupid. And the reason I have doubt in anything is that the lawyers are going to get involved. And I don't think college or high school can come back if the pros aren't. And then,
well, if the pros don't, there's no way.
Right.
But I think the NFL is going to come back. I think we get sports back in within the next few months. The only thing that prevents it is, say, September. Whenever fall starts to hit, there's a spike. Other than that, if it's steady like it is now, slightly on the decline, we're staying as flat as it can. I see us getting sports back at the professional level. I'm not saying all sports. I'm not going to guarantee college, and I'm not going to guarantee high school. But professionally, I could see it. I could see it. And one of the things really that's going to be the push for it is these leagues need this TV money. I know it sounds crazy, but it really does, and nobody really wants to hear that, oh, the league will survive without fans. Well, they will. And not only that, but the TV needs the sports just as bad as the sports needs TV
they
right now.
They need the money, and I tell you who else needs the money, the L.A. Rams. Did y'all see the L.A. Rams is borrowed $500,000 from the NFL?
$500 million.
Yeah, $500 million. I'm sorry.
Imagine.
And no wonder their players haven't been getting paid.
Yeah. Todd Gurley's still sitting here saying, I mean, you ain't paid me.
And so the old Green Bay linebacker, I can't think of his name. Long hair.
Oh, yeah. They haven't played
now,
Clay
remember,
Matthews either.
They moved from St. Louis because it wasn't fiscally Feasible.
I laughed this morning at that.
Dumb shit.
I couldn't believe it. I couldn't.
I'm telling you, some sports
and
organizations are
you're
the
in
dumbest
LA,
shit in the world.
So, yeah.
They acted like they were going to get more fans in LA, you know, a place where people not only already have a football team, they had 2 football teams, a soccer team and 2 basketball teams, and 2 baseball teams, okay, and a beach and an entertainment mecca of the United States to deal with. Instead of having, you know, blue-collar St. Louis where you had diehard fans that wanted to come to every game, you went to a place where everybody and their brother is thinking about doing something completely different than watching a football game.
And the second thing they did, they went on a spending spree and then had the NFL bail them out of paying all those players. They tried to buy a championship.
They did try to buy a championship. It blew up in their face, and now look at them.
I can't find the website that I used the other day for my statistics, so I'm going to have to dive deep into
Look, all I know is I think we get athletics back.
Yeah.
I think we do this
The
year.
NFL is the
Because
gauge right now.
I'm telling
I mean,
you,
not NFL.
the
The
NBA
NASCAR.
is looking at a $800 million loss. Actually, it might be a lot more than that. I think I was just reading that, and it was like a rough estimate. And you know, we spoke on it a few weeks ago. That's going to affect. They said it could affect cap going into next season.
$30 to $80 million drop.
$30 million.
In which league?
In the
NBA.
NFL.
Oh, in the NFL.
And Dak is asking for $35 to $45 million. You could pay
Oh, did you see that?
Andy Dalton
You see that
$3
shit?
million.
You see that
He wants
shit?
45
the
for his
last
one.
year. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He said he doesn't want to. He wants to be there for 4 years because they offered him a 5-year deal. He said, "No, I want a 4-year, and I want more. If you do a 5th year, I want more in that 5th year, $45 million." And I'm like, "Are you smoking crack?
I just
Are you smoking crack?" I don't.
And what if they dropped the salary cap by $80 million? Dallas, I'm telling you, it's
Dude,
smart not to do
listen,
it. They better not do it.
if there is a whiff or an inkling that that's actually going to be the case for next year, just due to revenue drop and they have to drop the salary cap like that, if I'm Dallas, I'm saying when July 15th hits, saying no, we are rescinding this contract. You're just going to have to play out this oh my God, franchise tag. You're just going to have to play it out this season. And when next season comes, then we can have a real conversation because next year's going to throw us into a completely different loop. You might not even have this rookie we just drafted, okay? Just because we have to give him so much money from the first round.
All right, I'm going off Bowling Greens. I know they canceled their program.
Yeah, they canceled their baseball program. Someone else canceled their baseball program. Furman.
Yeah, I don't have
canceled.
Furman's. I was trying to look up theirs because they actually have more money than Bowling Green in the bank. So
Furman's private, isn't it?
I'm not sure about that.
Because I know Bowling Green isn't.
So, Zach, I'm going to give you some quick notes to think about. So, Bowling Green's yearly baseball expense is $700,000. Okay? Their football coach costs...
Yep, Furman is private.
Their football coach per year makes $550,000. Now, I'm not a expert mathematician, but it would seem to me that you could fire the football coach and keep the baseball program and just let any old assistant be the interim coach. And then you save the whole baseball program by firing one football coach. How about someone else at the school? The school president makes $450,000. You telling me all those teachers and other people on the board and at that school, if they fired that one guy for $450,000, that they couldn't do what he does? What does the school president do? I make deals. I mean, not much. Like, what do they do? So you could cut the football coach or the school president and pay for almost all the baseball program in one. And
then you don't have to
firing.
lose students that are on scholarship.
Yeah. Then, well, how about this? Like, they have a $138 million endowment. That means they have $138 million in the bank. Baseball expense is $700,000 a year. I did the math on it. Let's see. They could
200 times 200 years.
Yeah, it was right at 200-something years. I even put that $138 million down. It could pay for about 200 years of baseball straight up without ever doing anything.
See, and this is the difference.
200 years of baseball, and they cut the whole program.
Furman is a private institution.
You got their
Bowling
endowment.
Green is a public.
I've got their endowment.
Furman has a total enrollment with undergrads of 2,700 students, where Bowling Green has 14,800 students.
Furman's only got 2,000 students.
Dude, I'm reading this right now. USnews.com education.
Well, that's part of the problem. They ain't got nobody to come to their games, Hunter. if you only got 2,000 students, like App had like 10,000, I think, and we barely got people to baseball games. I know it's cold as crap up there, but still.
Furman University's ranking in the 2020 edition of Best Colleges is National Liberal Arts Colleges number 46. Bowling Green's ranking in 2020 Best Colleges of National Universities is 246. So, what you just said really speaks to it, though, is you look at, I don't know what the hell they do with this endowment money, if they just put it there and save it for a rainy day. Well, guess what, motherfucker? This was a rainy day. I hate to put it that way, but damn, this was a rainy day.
Today's the day, Zach.
Today's the day. They're like, look, we're saving this for a rainy day in case we need it.
Isn't that like
oh, shit. And you losing 20 kids on scholarship in a rainy day?
Isn't that like some states asking for federal money right now? Like what have you been doing?
The Lakers got it. The Lakers got federal money. They had to give it back.
They gave it back, yeah.
Somebody found out they got it, and they would have kept it.
Who wrote the check to them in the first place?
You have to say L.A. Lakers. What idiot wrote that check?
How does it even get on the list? That's the thing. Like,
so that's what I don't understand with these schools and this endowment money.
Lay off money to LeBron.
When Colin did his story about, he had heard somewhere that a lot of these larger schools and larger football programs, the money they make through a football season not only funds the football program, but funds other sports programs as well. And I'm saying, damn, whoever came up with that system is dumb as hell.
Well,
that's not self-sustaining at all.
No, it's not. And they've got the endowments. They've got the
because that's money. What he made the example. He was like, look, nobody goes to many college baseball games, because they play a lot. Okay, they play like 40 college baseball games. He said, but the reason they have to play that many is to try and make that revenue to kind of meet what they're already getting from the football program. He said, if you just were completely self-sustainable through yourself in baseball, you wouldn't have to play 40 damn games. You could probably play 20.
If the SEC averages $3.8 million expenses in baseball, the lowest in the Sun Belt that they list is the lowest is right at $1 million in expenses. So, like, say if you're Appalachian, firing Nick Saban in Alabama could buy you 8 years of baseball, and that's what I think Hunter and myself are trying to point out in all these, where all this money is at, is that instead of cutting people who are making bukus and bukus of money and cutting parts of that part of the university, they're cutting whole programs.
They're cutting programs. Not only that, baseball is a scholarship program.
Yeah.
Like, it's not just you have to show up and walk on and pray that you get it. That's a scholarship-based program.
Now,
some of those kids, that's the only way they got to college.
I will say this about the Bowling Greens and the Furmans and some of these other divisions. And, we've got our friend Coach Bowles came by from Cleveland Community College. They're starting up next year. He's probably going to get a stud or two out of all this.
He might make a phone. Hey, Coach Gene, you listening? We got 2 plays. You can make a quick phone call real quick if people looking for baseball.
Too. Well,
right? Furman players and Bowling Green players going to be looking.
And Major League Baseball's only doing 5 drafts, too.
5 rounds, yeah.
Yep, 5 rounds. So these guys are going to be everywhere. So here's how many teams are. So in basketball, how many professional teams are there not in the NBA? You know what I mean? Like, it's not that.
Not just
like,
talking G Leagues.
Pro? Yeah, can you go pro?
You can go overseas if you want to.
Just a number. So you got 5 levels of minor league baseball. Then you got independent leagues as well. In college sports, you've got 299 Division I baseball teams, 274 Division II baseball teams, and 389 Division III baseball teams. You have over 1,000 different baseball teams if you're not a professional baseball player that you could try out and play for, basically. And so I don't.
And only the minor league ones are paying you.
If that was a different sport, it would be a bigger deal. Basically, to me, what that says, Hunter, is that the colleges are getting beat by the minor league teams. Then, if you're spending that much money, how many national championships is Bowling Green winning?
Not many.
Right. So, guess what you're doing? You're spending too much money. Anyone who's spending, and I said that about the Tar Heels, you can spend all you want on Mac Brown and everybody else down there. You're going to waste all that money, and you're not going to win a national championship. And
there are usually every year only 5 teams that truly are in contention for national championship.
We do have a really good quarterback this year. We'll see. He's supposed to be second best in the nation. We'll see.
Look,
he did that for that poor. I feel bad for that kid because he should have went to a better school and a better program, and instead he went to North Carolina just so Mac Brown could get recruits.
Yeah.
He didn't. He moved that kid in there to get recruits. Now, when all these people are getting paid under the table, I'm not accusing anyone of that. Carolina got a lot of recruits, and Mac Brown was here the first time and ain't won shit since he left. Now all of a sudden the top 20 recruits want to come to North Carolina.
He was pretty. They were close that last year, I think, a top 20.
When he was here, they finished 6th one year.
Was it?
They finished 6th one year.
It was the year they had Peppers.
It was Chris Keldorf was the quarterback.
The best year that they've had since then, Butch Davis was the coach. They were in the running. Technically, should have been in the running for the national championship, but because they were North Carolina, they didn't even get looked at.
I'm pretty sure Butch was paying people under the table too.
100% he was. That's why he's not there.
It's in my everywhere he was. Man,
what did he say? What did Gene say?
Number, and I'm available. I don't know.
Yeah. Hey, there you go. There you go.
Do want to before we? I know we're getting close, but did y'all talk about NASCAR Monday?
Yes, and I wanted to wait. We kind of touched on it just a little bit, but I wanted.
I think that I heard somewhere today they were pushed back the start time just to see if the rain would
because of the rain.
They moved up the start time.
They moved it up.
Last night's race was canceled and moved to Thursday for the Xfinity.
Yeah.
Today's race has been moved up to 6 p.m. start.
I don't even know if he'll get it in. I don't know.
I hope they do. I like.
And I'm not trying to poo-poo it and say I don't care. It'd be good if they could get it in. I'm just saying they call for rain really all the way up to Friday, just within the Carolinas.
My wife actually watched the race with me Sunday. I actually enjoyed that.
I saw a couple people tweet online about their kids or their wives watching their first races, everything Sunday.
I tried to get Judah to watch it, and he just didn't. Yeah, I'm trying.
I get Austin Isabel. I get him to watch the first few laps, and then I get him to watch the last 20 with me, or so, depending on what.
I told Mandy if I got him there, it'd probably be a little bit different, where he could hear the cars.
Has he not been to one yet?
Nah,
okay,
not.
that'll do it. Both my kids love it now
because he likes fast cars.
Right. The top 20 spots today will be inverted. From the other night. So here's your starting lineup. Priest is on the pole. Dillon, Logano, Boyer, Blaney, Newman, Dinabetto, Keselowski, Amarola, Dillon, Kenseth, John Hunter, Nemechek, Eric Jones, Tyler Reddick, Truex, Hamlin, Elliott, Busch, Bowman, and Harvick. At 21 is Bubba, Cole Custer, Michael McDowell, all the way down through, and Jimmy Johnson starting 37th.
Yeah. Who
maybe him or William Byron may make the greatest start comeback to win a race ever.
What I want
both
to
of them
mention
are flying
about Sunday. Don't know what y'all got to say on it. Chevy's had a good setup. Chevy's really had a good setup. They had bad luck. And then Kevin's man went out, Jimmy Johnson, and then my man just pulls off. He's running 5th, and I see him going to the pit. I'm just like, really? Kyle Busch. I thought he had a loose tire. I don't know what it wind up about that, but he got to be a lap down. So I was like, really? Watch the whole race, and he gets put behind. And Kevin Harvick, of all people, wins. I'm not a Kevin Harvick fan.
Cheating Kevin Harvick. Thank you very much.
So
he was always all I'm saying is he was in question after every race last year. So
and then you're talking about I knew Kevin was going to be so upset about Jimmy Johnson, and rightfully so. But when I kept watching the replays, he did bump the guy. It was bad. It was bad luck because you see the guy hit the wall and then he comes back down. He taps, and when he taps him, he that's what knocked Jimmy Johnson off. It wasn't the bump. It was the hit wall and then it ricocheted.
My analysis of it was Buscher through the turns. I can't remember which turn he wrecked in, but through the turns that they were in, he was all over the track. He was inside and outside. To me, what it looked like was Jimmy started going low, Buscher went low. Started going back high, Buscher went high. So Jimmy, when he went back low, Buscher stayed low. And then when Jimmy said, well, crap, I got to go high. I'm leading this. And he went back high. That's when Buscher went back high again. And so to me, what was happening was Buscher was blocking because what lap was it? Do you remember? It was
It was right before the first.
Yes, it was the lap or two, last lap before the first segment was over, which meant Jimmy, all he had to do was finish up. He would have won the segment.
Got his point.
Got his points for going out. But that guy's trying not to get lapped. As a leader, you want to lap the cars because that means one guy that really can't pass you coming up. Because if you don't lap that guy, that means he stays on the lead lap, and then another guy gets the lucky dog. So that's actually two guys there that get back on the lead lap. You're not necessarily worried about those, but if that guy's Kyle Busch, you're worried about him. If that guy's Kevin Harvick, you don't want him on the lead lap. So two things went wrong for me when I said I think Jimmy was driving too aggressive on the last lap. If it had been 5 laps earlier, I don't think nothing would. I don't think he would have wrecked anybody because either he would have backed off just a little bit where he could get around him clean, or Buescher would have said, maybe I should get out of his way of 7 times, whatever.
7-time champion.
Buescher got on the radio complaining about what the hell just happened. He didn't know. Well, a few laps later, Buescher got in a wreck again with 95, and he goes like, "What the hell happened then?"
He's
like,
not
maybe
watching his rear view.
You need to speed the hell up.
Yeah.
Just go a little bit. Whatever it is, you're not going fast enough. Is what it is.
So
Buescher.
basically, what you're saying is, if they race tonight, Jimmy Johnson has a chance.
He's a favorite. He cannot be. But I can't believe, Zach, that of all the people that happened to, that was him.
Yeah.
Like you're leading the race. You're 7-time. You may be the GOAT, and you wreck hitting a lap car.
Here's the
It can't
real
be
question.
any dumber than that.
Do you see a back-to-back tonight? Do we see Harvick just win
No.
back-to-back races? You don't think so?
No,
Does he get back-to-back top
Here's
fives?
the thing about Daytona,
Yeah.
Darlington.
As long as he don't wreck, he will.
There's one thing about Darlington. It's hard to pass.
Mhm.
And he's 20th right now. He's gonna start 20th.
You also the thing about Darlington too, you don't know when your tire's gonna blow.
Yeah, it eats them. It eats tires.
And if you're in the back, and like you just said, if you're sitting 20 in traffic, you're eating tires, and that's what happened to the Byron car. He blew his tire out, and so Hendricks had guys finish second and fourth, and those two guys weren't leading.
they weren't
when
the
that
best
happened.
cars that
Now
they
Bowman
had.
was earlier, and he just couldn't keep up. I was watching the radio. Have you watched they do a radio highlight of it where they put it together during the week on Twitter. It's about 3 minutes long, where you get to hear kind of it goes through the race and hearing the radio the guys yelling and complaining to each other. You know how the drivers are. It's a lot of road raging and bitching and complaining to each other. But yeah, that's what I was talking about, the Buescher thing. Hamlin cussed somebody, but that's just Danny being Danny.
That's his nature.
And then just listening to some of the guys, it was funny. The spotter sitting in the stands was interesting, and not on top of the roof together, which they ended up sitting just as close as they would if they were standing there. Basically, I don't know if did you see that when they showed them? They're sitting 1 seat apart from each other in the stands in the upper. It's not an upper deck; it's just the back row of the bleachers, basically where they were sitting. Hunter, I'm not gonna say he can't win. I think with more cars on the track and guys know what to do, maybe, and then you are making adjustments, it's going to be hard to win again.
Have they said, if this gets canceled tonight, how this affects the schedule going forward? Because remember, they got this set up where there's at least 3 days in between the next race. If you push it back,
think they have.
because they already said they're pushing the Xfinity race to
Xfinity's
tomorrow.
Thursday.
One thing I did like about
And they're not going to double up days. They're not going to run Xfinity, then run Cup. So then you would have, if they did push it back, they would have to push it back to Friday, and then you've got a day in between to get to your next track on Sunday.
one thing I did like from this past Sunday, we were sitting there. I looked at my wife. I said, "This first lap is going to be awesome because nobody had been in the cars on that track. The cars we're just going to set them up by based what we think." And I told her, I said, "Somebody's going off the road."
It was
sure enough, second turn.
There goes Stenhouse.
It was great.
It was either Waltrip or Mark Martin. I can't remember who it was. Might have been Jeff Gordon. So, hell, it was one old driver.
I think it's Gordon.
He said that these guys are awful brave driving down into turn one at full speed and not having any practice and not knowing what's about to happen. You have no idea what's about to happen.
I mean, everybody's car's probably set up completely different. Nobody's been on that track, and I just told Mandy, I said, it's going to happen, and Stenthouse, and then everybody was posting on Facebook Spinhouse. That was even better.
There's also a thing, Hunter, where the guys aren't going to want to let Harvick win the two there in Darlington. Some of the other racetracks you can write down as whoever the winner is probably going to win that one. Again, whoever wins the Coca-Cola 600 in Charlotte, I would pick to win the next one. However, the 600 race, that also depends a lot of times. Guys will blow engines and tires and stuff, and that's
I guess
just
I'm
so
just
long a race.
more concerned now with how this affects the schedule if it does get rained out today.
I just read a thing. It didn't mention anything about if it rained out today, what it would be. So
Because
we can't even speculate on that.
And the good thing is they're not that far from Charlotte. Like, you know what I'm saying?
They're not very far.
How about
they still probably wouldn't want to just run a Friday, only have Saturday, and run again Sunday.
Unless you're Kyle Busch.
It's only
He
two.
run every
Kyle
race.
did.
It's only a 2-hour drive.
Kyle would do it every day
Yeah.
if he could.
Because he was running all of them at Darlington.
They are having new paint schemes for tonight. So you folks, I'll pull that.
I did laugh. I told Mandy, I said, my wife was watching with us, and I was talking about Ryan Newman, and I said we was laughing because he had the fire flames on his Oscar Mayer hot dog.
That's
bar.
we laughed too. I told Amy, I was like, that's wrong.
It is,
Like,
she said, why is that wrong? And I explained to her. I said, he's the one that had the bad wreck. She's like,
Yes.
no.
This
So-
dude's coming out here in a car. There it is. Like, he was almost literally a hot dog. He almost cooked himself in a
Yeah.
car, Hunter, and they run him out there in the Oscar Wienermobile. Like, the hell?
best. That is
Nobody
the
thought
best.
this was a terrible idea.
That's best. Like in the
do it.
politically
Hey,
correct.
You do what the sponsor wants you to do.
I guess.
You do what the sponsor wants you to do.
There's the 8 car, 11 FedEx, 12 Menards, 13 Boyer. How about the there's a pink, purple.
I like that one
M&Ms.
better than the white one he drove the other day.
Zach, how about what about the banner causing the caution? Did you see that?
Yes.
So they put the the stickers you put on walls in school, whatever, like the
Yeah.
everything now is a sticker, right? Instead of painting. So they stickered the walls at Darlington.
Then one peeled
Blue
off.
ball.
Yeah, you want to think? Yeah,
It goes across the track.
Hunter doesn't even know racing, and it didn't take him a half a second to figure out what the hell was about to happen at
It
Darlington.
come off.
Imagine that, these guys putting all this wind and force against the wall, and it peels the sticker off.
No, them scraping it. This
Oh,
is
well, that
Darlington.
too.
At Darlington, there's a black line across the wall, and Gordon
Yeah.
said, "What?" So he said something to the nature of, "What idiot thought that would be a good idea at Darlington?"
Yes, that's why they got. It's always a black line around Darlington. It's just the way it is. And I saw it going across and it's blowing. And I thought at first it was somebody's car piece, and I was like, they're going to get a caution. This is the caution in the last 10
Yeah.
laps. But and Mandy's watching. She don't understand any of this stuff, and I'm like, I can't. Whose car did it land on? Do you remember?
It hit.
Was it Matt? It wasn't Matt.
No,
Kins, I
it
don't
was
think.
Denny Hamlin
Was
first.
it Denny? 'Cause it stuck to his.
Yeah.
It stuck. And I told Mandy, that's horrible. And as soon as he hits the next curve, you see it. I don't know if you was watching that close, but he hit the next curve, man. He almost squirreled out to the infield.
And he got it off.
He did.
But what was funny about it
You
was
have to basically get behind somebody.
he was in a group of 5 other cars, Hunter. So he had to pull it to the outside, and you could see Hamlin's hand out the window trying to wave them by. And then I swear to God, Zach, I think they all had checked up. I don't think they – because it was a good turn, maybe corner or two before they actually passed him.
landed
Like, I think they were trying to make him
directly
– I think they
in
were
the
trying to
worst
make
place
him,
that it could land on
him
that car.
overheat.
And to get that off, if you watch racing, you have to basically get behind somebody else
Right.
to get the air to stop, and then it'll fall.
You've seen that at Talladega before where you get hot dog wrappers and you get up behind
Yeah.
somebody.
This was a big one.
Oh, this was a 15-foot wrap. and then he gets it off, and it hits Clint Boyer's car. Of all the people, there's Boyer.
And see, when it come across the thing, I thought it was a fender. It was that big. It looked like a fender. That was just flopping around.
Whoever had that idea is fired.
It was great.
At Tide car.
And that was like, you got 12 laps to go in the
wow,
race.
it's a Tide pod car.
Shit, that is.
They got a Tide pod
They
car.
got a
running.
Tide Pod car. That is not good.
How about the Tiger stripes from
That
Skag?
looks good.
Should have been sponsored by the Tiger King. There's your Matt Kenseth mobile. He
Kenseth,
finished 10th.
Kansas started, I think, 10th and finished 10th.
Bubba Wallace and the Victory Junction gang. That's for the kids. They're the Petty family.
I didn't think Kansas was as old as he was. 48.
There's Timmy Hill in the 66. He got blown by on that last lap by Kevin Harvick. Lapped on
Who's
the last
the
lap.
guy that talked with us the other day?
Jesse.
Jesse
How
Little.
did he do
with
this week?
Xfinity. They haven't
They
raced yet.
canceled
They have not raced.
They don't race till
Tomorrow.
yeah.
That was yesterday's race.
For you folks, I'm a dummy at folks watching. I skipped over 20 cars in the left pane there, Hunter. Trying to show off the cars. I wasn't even showing them. We were just looking at them.
Is Truex still in the one?
No, he's in like 19 or something.
I forgot.
Something like that.
That was years ago, Hunter. What are you
Yeah.
thinking? That was years ago. That was when he was racing the Bass Pro Shop.
They
and he was
closed that
originally
team
one.
down.
He's still
Yeah.
Bass Pro, ain't he?
Yeah, that's where he's in.
Yeah.
He's Bass Pro tracker boats.
That was
That's
the
him right
reason
now.
why I went stupid like that is because that was one of the first die-cast NASCARs I ever had growing up. That was my favorite one. Was the Bass Pro Shop #1 Truex Jr.
And they shut down the team.
The first NASCAR car that I ever had was a Harry Gant.
I've got a Harry Gant
Plastic
in
car.
a in a box. It hasn't been open. I don't have
Was it
one.
metal? This one's plastic.
I don't know if
I had
I don't
that.
know.
Uncle
I don't
James,
know.
my Uncle James.
And I had Denny Hamlin because when I was in 5th grade, one of our classmates, his dad was a part of the crew team at JGR for Tony Stewart. And so as a school, we went to JGR, or at least our class, we went there as like a field trip, the 5th graders. So
my Uncle James took the car and made it. It was just a little plastic car. He actually made it a remote control car.
Mason?
No, Mayhue.
Oh, okay. All right. I was trying to see if there's anything else Zach want to touch on before baseball's having discussions on getting back. Did you have a Mount Rushmore or anything, Hunter, that you wanted to do today while
no,
Zach's
I
here?
think we did
I
it.
feel like I had a question.
We
for
had
the
a
other
bit.
day.
We had a big Mount Rushmore. We
And
had multiple ones Mondays. So.
Right. I feel like I had something with Zach about I don't know if it was wrestling or not that we didn't really get to. Yeah, that's not it. Looking at other stuff for Zach. Just want to make sure. I hate getting out of here then thinking, damn it, I meant to talk to you with you about something. Zach, how about from 1990 and 2001, Jordan never lost 3 games in a row.
Yeah, I heard that the other day.
There's the Jose Canseco stuff. Did I read that to you the other day, or that wasn't you here, was it?
I do have his book. It's fantastic, by the way.
I'm sure it is.
It's great.
You know what he does now, don't you? Do you?
You
have I
told
brought
me
this
a
up?
couple weeks
He's
ago.
a Bigfoot. He's a Bigfoot chaser. Now he's promoting dream therapy. I'm going to teach dream control seminars. After you get your master's in dream control, you will be able to enter a facility where you will be put into a coma-induced dream state for whatever time you choose and be able to do whatever you want with no restrictions whatsoever. Kind of like the Matrix.
This dude's on another level.
He's all time everything. Like there is no. You're 100% right here. He's on a level that nobody else is even close to being on right now. And I just Zach, your Panthers. Did we go over it? I don't think we did on this one. Are the only team in the Belichick era with a winning record against the Patriots.
We did
3-2.
I did also that. Cam's got 3 potential teams that the odds are putting him at. It's the Patriots and the Steelers are the top 2.
I could see Pittsburgh before New England.
Yeah.
New England's kind of in a we want Trevor Lawrence mode.
Wouldn't
so.
they have already done it if it was New England?
Yeah, probably. But I don't know. Maybe they see how Jarrett Stidham does in his first 2 weeks.
Well, he said Belichick basically said they had 4 starters or 4 starters. They had 4 quarterbacks on the roster and they were good with all of them. Brian Hoyer was one. You know.
Good with Brian Hoyer.
Is-
You set to lose.
Cowards tweet, Zach, I can't remember if I told you this one. Jordan scared and intimidated much harder and badass players in his era. Can you imagine Jordan against the stars of the skinny jeans era?
I was really surprised. Horace, there's a lot of people coming out really unhappy with this documentary too. Horace Grant's livid. Pippen's kind of hurt.
Yeah.
So I like the documentary.
I had to.
I think a lot of us like the documentary, but they're probably like, in their eyes, they're probably upset that it was more Michael-centric than.
It was. Well, what else you going to be? And then I was really
know.
surprised. I mean,
I know.
It's still.
I mean-
the hard feelings from Karl Malone would not do it. They went multiple times to talk to him. They finally talked John Stockton into talking, and Patrick Ewing said he just didn't want to relive it. He had to live it
Well,
first
he got
time.
beat 5 times by him.
Yeah. So Reggie finally gave in. I thought Reggie did really good on his commentary about it. I liked it. Did you like Reggie's comment? He said, I quit calling him.
He
was
said,
it
I quit
Michael
calling
after
him
that?
Michael
I'm gonna
Jordan.
start calling him the Black Cat.
Black Cat or Black Jesus.
Yeah. He told him. Don't talk shit Black Jesus ever again.
And the second thing before I get off here is I don't remember who made the comment, but it was when Reggie hit the shot and everybody was going crazy except for Larry Bird.
Yeah.
You remember that? And he's
Yeah,
like,
they
look
said
at
that.
Larry's. It was Jalen. It was Jalen Rose.
Yeah,
he
he
said,
said-
look at Larry's reaction. He said he knew who was on the other team. Jordan double clutched a 3-pointer and it rolled out.
Yeah, banked in.
That would have been if he hits that, that's unbelievable. He double clutched and it banked out.
Well, you know, he missed that. LeBron's 2 jumpers from being 1-9 in the 1-8 in the finals. I mean, 1-8. He got smoked by Dirk. Come on. All right. Hunter, you about anything else you want to wrap up the show today? Do we?
I think we hit quite a bit. At
Zach,
least
do you
for
have a
what's
Mount
happening
Rushmore of
right
anything
now.
you want to do or anything?
I tried to
off
think
top
of
your
one.
head?
I couldn't think of one.
We need to come here before. Let's make plans for you guys every day. Have something. Let me know the day before. Something we can have one. I like having something fun that we can do at the end of the shows besides just the tweet. Kind of do something different than other people do with the Mount Rushmores. Draft. Let's see. We don't even have to talk about that anymore, do we, Hunter? Dang.
Nope.
I'm like, what do we do? What do we talk
That's about it. That's what I'm saying. I think we hit everything that we could have hit that's happened right now. We're gonna have to wait another few days to see if
I know I
something
wrote
else
something
happens.
down that I wanted to talk about with Zach, and just that I was like, wait until Wednesday, and couldn't.
Yeah, I don't know.
For some reason, it's just off.
I don't know. We're kind of rambling.
I know. All right, guys. Well, I guess Terry sends that to Hunter. Did you get a Blue Devil text?
Whatever. I don't pay it. I love Terry to death, but I don't give him his text messages much of mine.
All right, guys. Let's wrap it up for today, and we're gonna go on, get out of here, and see you guys on Saturday morning Sports Talk. We'll have updates from Darlington and the winners and everybody else, and what's going on. Hopefully, we'll get to talk to Jesse here in the next week or so, and he can give us a little insight of exactly what's going on in NASCAR and everything else. All right, Hunter. Have a good day.
All right.
All right,
See
bye.
y'all.
All right, guys. Have a good day. KTCBroadcasting.com.